What up, my people? You are listening to another episode of your favorite podcast, Loose Talk. We have Steve Dede. My name is Osagie.
My name is AOT2.
Yeah, and we are the
Stop
Giants.
introducing me now. I'm an agency. I have my own agency, right?
I just love how I've been able to hack this thing. I love it. I've been able to hack it. You just have to at times step back and take your emotions out of things and really just think about how to do things.
Picking with talk saying
quite easily.
Your mama no go sleep. You two no go sleep now. So
Instead no go sleep. Thank you for that. 1-1. This one is not a 1-1. I think I'm leading like 2-1 already. And like that doesn't even have a strategy.
Big lead.
You understand? The comeback strategy is to be shouting when I'm talking. That's the only comeback strategy.
I'll think of a move. I'll think of something.
The only move you can think about is to just do the right thing, which is what? Introduce yourself on the podcast. It's simple. It's simple. You can't just be a notorious, I don't want to introduce you. What kind of Nigerian politician
non-introducer
is that?
But people, the idea is that they know who they talk. They know now. People know. Yes, now. There's no need to just.
Who knows?
People
Do you know that
they are
you see, the problem is that you don't feel like there are people that discover this podcast. Like people, this can be someone's very first episode. Yeah. Are you aware?
So before you listen to 2 episodes, they will know my name now. They will know that it's Steve Dede now. One and only.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, my brother. It doesn't work that way. Here's how it works. People join this podcast, and people listen to this podcast for the first time. This episode can be their first experience with us, right? And we have to do proper character introduction. Yeah, Ayo, you're a writer. Please explain to this man.
I can't explain to Steve because Steve comes.
His mates are on strike.
Steve comes from an area of the country where they've bastardized Nollywood. So I can't even start explaining to him. Onisha Nollywood is like advanced, is like Cannes Film Festival to Asaba Nollywood. So please, let's move on. Character introduction. It will take a podcast series. Wow. It will take a podcast series.
Wow.
Asaba Nollywood save this industry at a time, because now you are started getting small money to go to cinemas. You want the carry show. Don't forget our history.
To wear pink to the red carpet.
The greatest actress in Asaba Nollywood now is what is she? Minister?
Is not a secretary of Entertainment Senate Wives Association of Nigeria.
This one Nollywood has turned to. And
social secretary. So they call that social secretary.
Now she got to bring the minerals.
Because she gets social media for us fast.
Make sure they handle the social. Make sure they bring minerals.
They handle the social.
Make sure they bring minerals. Come for me. Oh God.
Wait, guys.
It's like the.
Who are we talking about?
You don't know her.
Osagie. You're not in the culture. You're in the culture.
Guys, I know. Excuse me. I know who you're talking about. For the benefit of our listeners, can we act like?
See, any listener that doesn't know what we're talking about, you are too hotel for us. That's my problem. You are too hotel. I'm telling you, you are too 1%.
You are too bougie for us.
You are too bougie, man. You don't know what we're talking about. The grape that married
target audience.
I'm telling you now. The child bride herself. What do you mean?
Don't go keep
it. We're not Regina Daniels.
The poster child bride. She's the dream. She's the Nigerian
She's literally the poster child. When they say poster child, she literally was the poster child of everything. Child marriage, child, everything. She was the one. God have mercy. Not even no go see.
Oh, the one and only Regina Daniels.
Regina Daniels.
Bro, that girl is popular.
That girl is a data machine. That girl is a data machine. Write a story on that girl. You see your numbers. It's insane.
No, gone.
Guys, do you know what I just remembered?
Yep.
When we were at Pulse, right?
Yeah.
And you know how we had this crazy page views target, sessions, unique views target, right? And it's getting to the end of the quarter.
And it's now we're not meeting it.
And we're not meeting that target. God bless Mercy Johnson. Because just one article
Uh,
from Mercy Johnson, we
that's
just say
it.
Dunga,
That's
Chidunga.
it.
I think Mercy Johnson. I was just Chidunga. I saw something on Mercy Johnson the other day. I think there's a story there. The girl will look at me and say, "Is this guy okay?" I
Wrap
think
it
there's a
up.
story there. I think
There's a
because any
story.
See,
You never
there was
see
one day.
anything.
Remember Bado? Remember that group
Oh,
Bado that was killing people in Ikorodu? Yeah. One day
yeah,
I had no
yeah.
story to
That
write.
was big thing.
I was looking at what's that IO analytics. I see people for scoreboard. I say
yeah.
Analytics.
I was doing this
It
scoreboard.
was from the devil.
I was doing this scoreboard today. I wrote 10 things to know about Bado.
It's in our score.
Boom. Highest weekend. I say yes, that's how it go. I can't,
You guys said 10 things to know about
it's not
Badu.
really that it's think piece. It's not really that you're dropping think piece. Drop for the streets too.
No. Once in a while, I give them Joan.
Yeah, get them.
Take it.
Yeah, you get them shave vibes. It's
You
not every
know?
time you get them. Asha. You get the shave vibes sometimes.
It's not every time you give them. I swear. But you guys were crazy.
And truth be told, right, it's the power of data, right? I think we were at the time. I don't know about like at the time we were one of the most um we're probably the publication platform in Nigeria that use data
Very
the
true.
most
Yeah.
to you know whether
So
to
create
create
content. Yeah.
stories
We're
or
very data driven.
to create content or yeah, we're very data driven or just understand what works and what doesn't work, and from the outside I guess people just thought, oh man, these guys are crazy, but really it was just using data and analyzing data. Look at how we had how many screens up in that room, like
You
three
go know it in the
screens,
apple for this country.
and everything was just was it three screens or even four? No, yeah, three
Yeah.
screens, and all three screens were showing best performing articles or best performing pages and all that. And it was really guiding us. And, you might think it's not working. You just throw it in there, but gradually you saw like all the writers gravitate towards that kind of um, behavior, which is using data to write stories, using data to create content.
Yeah.
And we all saw
Okay.
the results. We all saw the results. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys for um taking that charge. Anyways, man, it's a new week. How you guys? How's last week for you guys?
Yeah, I was ill for like 2 days. I was
Last week was good.
Steve, let me land now.
That was good.
Steve,
Who
let
wants
me
to
land
start?
first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Steve. Steve, you are notoriously known for
These are
speaking over
the
Ayo. People have written to
these
this
are the hijacked our
podcast,
natural
right?
resources.
And complained. Yeah.
It's just it's the Igbo
You are
Yoruba
not
thing
Igbo.
now. He's a
You are not
Yoruba guy. I
Igbo.
don't want him to be.
Steve,
When
you can't be moving. You can't be moving. When they increase revenue allocation now, you will remember you are from Niger Delta. When small should happen again, you will say you are going to East. Choose one. Don't be like Osagie. Stay in one
it
place.
depends on.
Stay in one place.
Don't be like Osagie.
Stay in one
To
place.
pointing that out.
See, I am a multi
Multi-tribe.
Multi-lie.
yeah, multi-tribe or
Multi-lie.
Yeah.
yes, yes. I am not
Yeah,
a
okay.
monolith.
Okay.
Okay, I've told you guys I am part Benin, part Igbo, and
Okay.
part Yoruba, and I rep
Okay.
all tribes
All right.
equally.
Wow.
Good for you. Good for
No
you.
bias.
Shout out to you. Shout out to
Thank you. Thank you. Please go ahead. Ayo. How was your
Anyway,
week?
early in the week, I felt ill for like 2 days. So I was down and out. I was decommissioned. But thankfully, we are back in the
Sorry.
business. We are back in the game now. Yeah.
Well, was it malaria or just
I
stress?
think it was food poisoning or some shit because I was just vomiting all night. It could be stress. I think it was that same day that they increased uh, fuel price. I think I just saw it subconsciously and I just threw up. I was like, nah, we're done. We're done. We're done in this
I'm
country,
sorry.
actually. Yeah, but the week was a breeze, literally, because I was out for like half of the week anyway. Yeah. So it was all good. Thank God we're here, Sha.
You're always out.
Solid,
Thoughts.
solid. Yeah,
I'm always out and about. Who is tell me the person, why are we recording today instead of tomorrow or Sunday, please? Because somebody has already announced that he will not be around this weekend. And the person is married. So you only have two suspects. Thank you.
Speaking well, and I was not the one
Thank
that dropped
God.
that message. So
Mhm.
speaking of the devil, Steve Dede, can you tell us what happened your week and tell us what you'll be doing for the next 2
48
days?
hours.
My week was good. Work. Anytime I say my week was good, just know I did my work well, and I'm not having any carryover work to the weekend. That's what largely defines my week. For the weekend, I'm going to play football on Saturday. Then I'm going to the island. Like I'm doing. So I'm organizing a press conference for a client. It's not a.
Okay, okay.
Well, I will
Okay,
tell
not
you
pay in
later. I will
dollars.
tell you.
Okay, it's
It's
not
not
paid in
a,
dollars. That's fine. You can please.
you know the drill. Then after then I had like a couple of meetings, like just one meeting though. And then I just plan to hang around, see some guys I've not seen for a while, in Lekki, some of my friends, and that's it. So I plan to come back late Sunday. I just want to sleep, bro. Just want to sleep and rest on Sunday and not go anywhere. That's it. Yeah. For
So this
context,
press
we are
conference
recording.
you're having.
For context, we're recording this podcast
Hmm.
on Friday, so that's why we're talking about the weekend. Yeah. So this press
Yeah,
conference, yeah,
yeah.
you're talking about the press conference,
Yes,
yeah.
this press conference. What industry does your client fall
It's
into?
it's construction.
Oh, okay.
This guy don't
Let me
collect money now. Yo.
No. Construction. And the only people where they
Construction.
do
Have
the
you
only
heard
people
of
where they do
construction?
construction.
yeah,
This
press
press
Nah,
conference,
conference.
police.
construction.
Ayo,
I dey
collect
collect me.
invite too.
I mean, hey, bro. I'm a foreman. No.
Journalists are here, oh.
Don't fuck with me. I'm a foreman. No. I know how a pillar should be. I know how a pillar should be. Please.
Osagie, the journalists are going, oh.
Yeah.
They are going.
Hey,
I'm
hey, I just say,
Ayo,
Osage has
collect
just.
hey,
invite.
I can never forget
the
Construction.
Osage.
Niger way the Niger way writes on
Osage from
construction.
Osage
Hey,
said the journalists will come and tell him that they're going. Osage will be like, oh yeah, go
oh
now.
boy, they know if you go.
The
They
journalists
can't
are
go.
going. No,
When are you get
the
you have
journalists
their
need
transport
to
allowance
go.
with them. Are you joking?
Uh,
For context, those who
oh,
don't understand when they say the journalists are going, right? The
yeah,
journalists are going basically. So at the end of every press conference, especially in Nigeria, the
yeah,
way PR works is very, very interesting. The way
yeah.
PR works in or the way PR should work, let me put it like that, is you shouldn't pay for
Let's talk
PR.
about it. Let's talk
That's the
about this. Let's
idea.
talk
That's
about
the whole
let's talk
point
about
of.
this, Osage. Okay.
Let's talk about it, right? Yeah, and you
Yeah.
guys are professionals. So let me just chip in, my own part from a journalist perspective. Although
Yeah.
I've been on the other side where I've,
Yeah.
worked with journalists. The idea of public relations is having somebody sort of like an intermediary who tells or brings an interesting angle from, whether it's a company or an individual that
Yeah.
interests the journalist or the media house for them to write about the story,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
What has happened right now, or has happened like for the longest time in Nigeria, is most times it's a couple of things, right? I'll take it from the angle of the PR specialist or the person who
Yeah.
is in
Please
charge
do.
of public relations. They usually don't have time to like spin a good story. So I recently learned when I was watching Borgen, it's a show in Denmark. They call the PR guys, they call them spin doctors. That's when I learned, the whole concept of being a spin doctor is basically a PR person. You're meant to spin the story in a way where it's so damn fucking interesting that the media house wants to report on it. So, but what's happening, what usually happens in Nigeria is that either the PR person is just too lazy or the story is not even worth spinning, right? But
Exactly.
the
That's
client
the
has
truth.
like money,
Yeah.
and then they give the PR person money and the PR person then gives the journalist money. So they're basically paying for it. So it's basically like paid posts, not really PR. Okay, so everything is not just modeled up together. Then on the side of the journalist, right? As you guys know in Nigeria, most journalists are not well paid. And so they basically sell their especially coming from like newspaper era, they basically sell their spot in newspaper. It's like real estate and you can pay
Yeah.
for it. It's almost like you're renting it for that period.
True.
Right? And I mean, there are even points in time where publishers or editor in chiefs will tell the journalist, "See, you have your own publication. I'm not paying you this
Well,
month.
not
Go
pay
and do what
salary.
you
Yeah.
have. I'm
Like
not paying salary. You
they
have."
use it to justify delays in salary. I'm like, you have a full page. Why do you always ask for salary? That's
You
that's
understand?
literally telling you that more.
You
Do your
understand?
thing. Yeah.
You have a whole page, and trust me, guys, if you had a whole page in a
In
national
in national
publication,
paper. Oh my god.
and if you were, you were covering a very good industry,
Yeah.
lucrative industry, right?
Yeah.
So
Oil and
maritime,
gas.
Oil and gas,
politics, oil and
aviation.
gas,
Yeah.
aviation, and most recently communication, right?
Yeah.
So network and communication.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You were going to do well. You were probably earning more than
Yeah.
your salary could
You're a
pay,
big boy.
five
You're a
times
big
more.
boy.
You
Yeah.
know,
5 times more. Ten
you're a
times
big
more.
boy.
5 to 10 times more.
You're a
Yeah.
big boy. Then those
Ah,
in entertainment
God
were
damn.
struggling. But when the industry switched from using sports as a medium to reach the audience and they switched to entertainment, they
Yeah, yeah,
started
yeah.
enjoying. They started to receive a lot of perks. They will fly them to events, etc, etc, and they also receive money. So I said all that to say, when you have a press conference and all the journalists are present and they've asked some of the, most ludicrous questions and all everything, right? That's another story for another day. Um, and then, they're leaving, but they are not really leaving because they are waiting for the brown envelope before they
Goodbye,
leave.
Lulu.
So someone will come and say, Amoga, the journalists are going, oh, that's the time you need to go and
They
hand
appoint the
everybody their
leader
brown
among them.
envelopes.
Yeah.
So yes, so
That's true.
as young journalists, when we were starting out in the early 2010s, right? We
I'm
never
not that.
experienced that
I'm not that
before, but
old.
we now started to experience it. I say, what's the journalists are going? What's going on? Journalists are going,
Abi,
let
oh,
them go now, you know. But we now started to experience it. And truth be told, we'll also put it here. I don't know if you guys want to, add to this part. As journalists, we also received envelopes. At some point, I was like, we did stories, but at some point, they would still give us the money. And hey, who was going to turn
bro.
down free money
Abi,
as a
abi,
young journalist? My salary was what 30 something
bro.
thousand naira. And someone put,
I know
Ayo,
what you want to say.
I think one of our most interesting. I know you know what I want to say. One of our most interesting
Yeah,
press releases
easy.
was the EME, was the EME album, right? See, this was like the EME album dropped in when
2012. Yeah.
2012, right? Because
Yeah.
2012. My salary in 2012 was probably around maybe 50 something
Oh, me, I
thousand
was a
naira per
blogger.
month,
Big
right?
boy.
I
So
was
now,
working
everything me
in
I dey
Harlem.
see on the street.
I was a blogger running Pop-Up Central. I was writing for Hip Hop World. Boys just the hustle. Make we no lie. We dey sleep for office.
Steady.
You understand? That year,
Same.
2012, we dey sleep for office steady. Salary was 50 somethings. I dey manage. I dey break stories, but hunger was in the land. And we had a press conference. They invited us for the press conference. It was somewhere in
Rumors,
GRA, I
rumors. I
believe.
remember clearly. Yeah.
It was in rumors. It was in rumors in GRA. It was the EME album. The whole EME team was there. They all lined up. It was like the whole Maybach music when they dropped
Yeah.
Maybach Music 3 and they all went for the whole press run. Everybody was there. Scales, Niola, Banky, Wiz. It was the whole crew. And,
Shady.
Shady, they had this whole, it was massive. And once they were done, they started handing out the envelopes, man. And it had the album in it. And it had
Wait, Osagie, let
20,000
me let
naira
me let me
cash.
interject here. So when they handed me the envelope,
Yes.
just because you've gone to press conferences, you already know the weight.
Now 5K now. And
Yeah,
entertainment, we are
you
the
already
shit
know
house now.
you know the
Yeah, you
weight
know
of
the weight.
10K. So as they gave me that brown envelope, I said, no, this is not 10K envelope. This is looking so.
You know, get sense.
When Osagie and I calculated it, yes, this is good, fam. This is good.
We saw it, 20,
Yeah, man.
20K. I looked at Ayo. Ayo looked at me. No, we were, see, for us to remember this thing most vivid, like this vividly, right? It was a very good night. I'm telling you, Steve,
Nakab, use
it
go
was a
back now.
very good
Nakab.
night. We took cab. Listen, this is guys, this is
Do you know what
pre-Uber.
club
Uber.
is?
It was black and
This is
yellow days.
pre-Uber.
Black and yellow.
Yeah, we just
Hmm.
pre-Uber now. Yeah.
Yeah, we took a cab
So
back to
this
my office. I think I went back to my office now. We first entered my office,
Yes,
we
we are.
sat down,
Yeah.
we counted the money, we looked at each other. We now went back to the street, and our office was still at Sule Abuka, so that was very close to Pekas. If you
yeah.
guys know Okwebi, those people who, you guys who know Okwebi Allen very well, Pekas, right? And we went, and I think we probably got
Yeah.
Indomie and the
Yeah.
You know the
Indomie and
passing
Turkey now.
domino. Yeah.
Remember that
Bro,
Indomie and Turkey
forget. That was
stand?
good, man.
Steve came to join us with that Indomie and Turkey stand.
I
He came
did.
to join in the struggle.
That thing gave me food poisoning one time like that.
Oh, for real?
I was
Really?
like,
Oh, my
yeah.
boy don't chop.
I think I ate it too much that weekend. I ate it too much that
Why
weekend.
you not
I
go
think that
chop
was one
am
of
when you are trying to beat deadline? You go chop am now.
Ah,
yeah.
well.
So this PRO and money thing, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
justification is that if you're taking journalists away from their offices or away from the jobs, away from their homes to come and cover your events, it makes sense if you just cover their own transport fare. So it's not necessarily that necessarily paying for the stories or whatever it is, they're paying for the transport fare. So because of how these experiences you just talked about a few of your own experience as a journalist, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like the way the whole brown envelope thing happened. It was so demeaning. Like that's the way I looked at it. I didn't like it didn't it was so just demeaning. Someone would just be there handing out envelopes as if you're helping my life. Like, and the person who's always handing the envelope, the person always has one attitude. I don't know, like I
Very
didn't like
condescending
yeah,
look.
I didn't like the
Very, very
position I was as a
condescending.
journalist taking, So now on the other side and I do these things. I don't put journalists
That's sport.
Position.
in that position. One, two, I try and I learned these things from Black House Media, right? Because as a journalist too, Black House Media invited me to events and managed me as a journalist. Like I was in the what they call it, in the like the list of
The
journalists that they
media list.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I knew how they managed. And Black House Media they didn't used to do the brand envelope thing, right, or even pay money for. They just develop relationship with journalists, right, and really did like a few things for them, which is not necessarily money. Maybe December hamper, like stuff that is like just stuff, just a few perks, right? And that's what I try to do with journalists these days. Just keep a relationship, and sometimes I have a sometimes in my media brief or in my media budget, I just take some money and I keep it. I'm not necessarily paying for a press release. I'm just, oh, what's up? What are you doing this weekend? Oh, take 10K, take this one, take this one, take this one. I just have them for relationship so that anytime I want to spin a story, I just send it to them. They help me do it. Um, and sometimes when they come on, I make sure that when they come to press conferences, I don't do envelopes. I just do transfers. Just make it, and the transfers is maybe like 2 days later, or it's not necessarily tied to the story. Oh, thanks for coming, blah 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 blah. Just bros, just take this one, take for your transport fare. I just put it in a way that will make it make sense, right? Not that condescending way that I experience as a journalist, as if they're paying me that pay me for something or something. I didn't like the position, so I just tend to like treat people more with respect and dignity. That's all. You just using my experience and just flipping it. But I think relationship matters a lot too. Because the last this for this client, there was a story last 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. I just put out things in the media about them, right? They didn't even talk to me about it, but I was able to do that because of the relationship I had with the journalists that I usually use. And the reason why they even called me for this press to handle this, I think they were trying to use another person or another PR company or whatever it is. But the reason why they used me was because of the spin-offs that I did like 2, 3 weeks ago without even informing them. They just woke up and the MD just woke up and just started seeing some good stories. And he was just texting me, this is just, yeah, this is my guy, this is me. I just made them. I was like, nice, thank you. Then I think about 2 weeks later, it's also a way to manage clients. Right? I did. About 2 weeks later, I got a brief to
Mm-hmm.
do the press
Mm-hmm.
conference and manage this whole rollout. So yeah, man, that's just, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel you. I feel you
Yeah.
100%. 100%. So, being on the other side as well, right? There's also a lot of pressure to get stories out quickly. A company raises some amount of money, or a company receives a license, or there's some stuff you want to do. You just want to put a press conference together, and your CEO just tells you, put this thing together. You have like 7 days to do it.
Yeah.
There's no time to start to build. Even if you've built
Thank
relationships,
you.
right?
It's
You're
true.
taking
It's
people,
true. Yeah.
just applying the Nigerian context
It's
and
true.
how getting people out of their offices or their homes is a bit difficult. You have to drop bar. So you work
Yeah,
with your
it's
PR
true.
company. If you're heading a marketing team, you probably work with your PR company, and your PR company says, see, to get this thing going, to get this thing out immediately, right? As quickly as you want, you have to drop some money to
It's
get
true.
everything done. Because if
Yeah.
you want to go the PR route, it will take some time. The story
It
will
takes
probably
some
come out
time.
in a month's
Story that
time.
is
You want to
true.
do interviews,
It's
but you
true.
want to do a press conference, your CEO and the board just want to come there and talk for like 15,
Yeah.
30 minutes, ask questions. Tomorrow you
Has to
want
be
everything out.
motivations. Yeah.
And this era of social media, this era of the internet, where you want like the
Everything to come out at
heaviest,
Yeah.
once.
yes,
You
you
want
want that
you want that
impact.
Barbie
So you
impact,
Yeah.
want,
bro.
You want
you
that
want,
converse
thank
coverage
you.
where everybody's doing it at once. Is intense.
Monday
Is
morning, you are going
yeah,
everywhere, it's everywhere. Then
yeah,
people
it's
are calling,
true.
I saw your story. Oh, you guys did this. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
And guys, don't underestimate the power of putting yourself out there.
yeah,
Don't underestimate the power of publishing something. It scares me, and that's why I don't post. I know you guys notice, right? I don't post often. It scares me how you can put one LinkedIn post and how many people see it, you
yeah.
know, and tell you, oh, I saw, especially when it's like good news, maybe you have a new job or something,
Mm,
and the amount of people that call you or send messages, and you're like, wow, I didn't
it's
know this
true.
thing had this much impact, right?
Yeah,
I'm still feeling the effects of facts only that I stopped recording
yeah.
almost 5 years
5
ago.
years ago, it's true.
Do you understand? Like we see the impact of loose talk, right? People will say
Yeah.
we listen to you guys. Like the thing still scares me, so
So
you
just
need that
yeah,
impact
it's
as a
true. It's
brand.
and you know this just because you work in the media, so you understand how the media works. I had a
Yeah.
conversation with someone like 3 days ago. The person was asking me why I really don't have like a deliberate branding strategy on social media. And I told the person that one, it's just because of the mind space that I understand what the person is saying. We don't go on LinkedIn and just talk and talk and talk. I just say, bro, I've been in the media for I was in the media for a long time, doing stuff on IG. People don't understand how viral pause like we used to be because we're always doing things on the camera, right? People will just see you. I'll just be walking on the streets and someone will say, yeah, I know you now. You're on Pause TV, right? And stuff like that. So because I had those, platforms to just do my thing and I had like people knew me from there. I didn't do anything deliberately on my own social media in terms of LinkedIn or maybe personal branding to say, oh, this is who I am. And it was something that has been in my mind to do since I left media. But I just wanted to take a little break to just breathe, everything. It was just too intense. The last 1 year, the last one, yeah, more than one, like over a year since I left the media, um, professionally. I've really, really enjoyed it. I've not had to put myself out there just because I have to do it because it's the job. I've not gone to like have to do any interview, do anything on video. Like I've just been chilling and it's just been super cool. I understand the advantages, the power of branding and putting yourself out there, creating a narrative about yourself. But I just believe that when I start doing like a lot more work, that's when I'll come out and start talking about it, and that's what I'm planning to do in the nearest future. I have something I'm launching next month. I thought I've run this trust with Osagie, a newsletter, a couple of ideas I'm just trying to launch, and it will make me say more things on LinkedIn, on social media. Just do stuff like people will see. Maybe doing a couple of interviews, appear on a couple of podcasts, maybe a conference, one or two. It's something I
Hmm.
plan to do well in the next 61 year. So let's see how it goes, sure. But there has to be a purpose to any branding that you're
Oh
doing. You can't
yeah,
just be
man,
branding just because
definitely.
you want to have
Yeah.
a brand. That's why I've just been chilling and just be looking and just be folding my hands. So that's it.
Very well said. Very well said. And we do wish you the very best in
Thank you,
your
thank you.
endeavors. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's get into fan mail real
No, sorry,
quick.
sorry. I want to add that we should do this whole thing. So I got I was, I remember I was disturbing you in the group about the music and artist I wanted to help do some rollouts. And I just discovered much I've how much I don't know anymore about the music industry, about the music media and everything, right? Because I had to ask Ayo a lot of questions about which platform should I use, which platform should I use. It's just funny that this was my thing once in a while, when like once upon a time, but now I don't know anything about it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, man. If you leave a certain industry, but the good part is that you've gained a lot of knowledge in another
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
It's true, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
That's what it be. That's what it be.
Yep.
Anyways, let's get into fan mail. Fan mail. This is from Mena. Mena says, "Love the last episode a lot. So much nostalgic feelings. I had to play Michael Jackson's Dangerous album and the highlights from the 1996 Summer Olympics. Man, we had good times. Keep up the good work. Great job." All I can say, Mena, is that you are probably in your 40s right
Yeah,
now because you're showing
definitely.
your age, listening to MJ's Dangerous and
I'm
watching
talking about
the
Atlanta 96.
yeah, which is all good. Which is all good. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
age
good. I'm
shaming
good.
you. In fact, the older you are, the better. Can I just say something? I was reading something and I was just thinking about something, and I saw a line somewhere. They said the the young people are cursed with youth. Young people are cursed with youth. And I was like, what does that mean? And I said, digging deeper. And the explanation is very simple. When you are young, right, you have the energy, you have the mindset to learn faster, like, but you don't know shit. The very moment you now know shit and you've acquired all the knowledge and everything, you're no more young.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Do you get what I mean? Like, you don't have youth anymore, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the power of youth. Imagine having the power of youth and having the knowledge of the world, the like the kind of things you can do. At the point where Steve Jobs had acquired everything, right, and could take it to the next level, he wasn't young anymore. He didn't have youth, right? He
at
didn't have the
all.
power of youth anymore. So it's very ironic, or it's such a paradox, right, that the young people who are least knowledgeable have the power of youth. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I was just
I
thinking
think
about that.
let me just put this. Let me just put what I think about this age thing and youth thing. I don't like the way they talk about youth, like the youthfulness, as if it's something that you miss when you leave it. Like I don't like the way they they make us cherish it so much. Oh, you're young people. This is your time, bro. Every
Hmm.
time is your time. Like this period I'm living now is the best period of my life. And I believe that when I'm 40, when I'm in my 40s, it will be best period of my life. Like I believe my life will keep getting better as long as I live. That's how I see life. That's how I feel it should be. Right? I don't understand why I should be living. I'll be thinking back at when I was 20 to say, oh, I miss those times. I don't want to miss my past life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Hmm. I see your point. I don't necessarily agree. Maybe I don't
Mm,
miss me being 20, but I miss some of those experiences. Like I tell people,
I
like some
don't.
of the best times of my life were like the 90s. Just the feeling and everything of the 90s in Nigeria, right? And
Yeah.
the music, everything. Like technology was not even what it is now, but like I really enjoyed the 90s. I don't know. I
I
probably told you guys before.
yeah,
I
you
wish I
see
was
you
born like way earlier and then I died in 99 and just experienced the 90s and go like, yeah,
Osagie.
but
Yeah, but you want to
I
experience the
mean,
blueprint.
the
Yeah,
2000s
so
was
sorry.
yeah, I want to have experienced the blueprint, right? But like the 2000s were dope. In fact, it's one of the dopest eras, right? The 2000s when it even comes to pop culture and everything. But like that 90s,
No, I,
man, I don't know. And maybe I'm just clinging
I,
on to
You're
I think
another
just
what,
clinging.
thing
You're
and it's
clinging on to
trauma
the.
and I'm
I
clinging
think
on
what
to
Steve is
something
trying to
Don't
else.
say
you
is
see?
that
Let me tell
wait,
you. You
Steve,
see
Steve,
this. You see the way you're feeling. You feel. You see. Is
I think what
okay.
Steve is trying to say that people here feel that once you reach a certain age, your life is downhill, not cultural wise, but like personal experiences wise. That once you're like 35, 38, 39,
Yeah.
then you should not be like people should not be seeing you having fun or this is not your best life. It's like you want to
Yeah. Or exploring it.
semi-retire you, which
Yeah.
is a lie because if you go abroad, people in their 50s or 60s are starting new careers at the end of the day. They don't see
Yep.
age as
Hmm.
that, it's until you
Yeah.
give up is when you give
That's a
up at the end of
barrier.
the day. But in Nigeria,
Yeah.
once you get married, once you have kids, once you settle down, people now start looking at you like, oh, you are no more in the thick of things anymore, which is a bloody lie at the end of the day. Man. If you look
Yeah.
at all the major
It's a
industries in the
bloody
world,
lie.
it's
See,
people that are way above us that are pushing things. It looks like it's young people pushing things because it's culture, it's flashy. But at the end of the day, there are
Yeah.
people
It's
also
flashy.
who are not in that youth bracket who are still doing a lot of things and breaking barriers. Look at Farrell for kind of loud. Farrell, after all these years, is now the creative director of
Is the
Louis
is
Vuitton,
creative director of
the
Louis
male
Vuitton.
fashion line. That's a whole new flex totally. In Nigeria, they'll tell you, no, Farrell don't old, no. You don't get that, you don't get the
Yeah.
vibe anymore. Which is no. At the end of the day, every single day should be like
That's
the
true.
best day of your life. Really, if you are going forward. Yeah.
Exactly. That's where I was coming to. Yeah. Like
okay.
living in the moment and just living to your fullest, living your fullest life, right? So that you don't miss. I remember when we were leaving school, right? And I had a couple of people saying, "Oh, I will miss school. I will miss this place." So, talking about some experiences in university. And me, I was already thinking about NYC, thinking about going to Lagos, thinking about like what life had for me in the future, which is where I think now. Like I never look back and say, oh, I missed it. No, I'm always thinking about, I'm more excited about the experiences of my 40s and 50s than, reminiscing about what I did in my 20s. Because I really lived well like I lived in the moment in my 20s. I was there. I lived it. So there's no need to go sit back and be thinking about it. That's how I see it, you know.
I see what you're saying, and
Yeah.
it's a bit different from what I was saying.
Yeah,
And
I
truth be
understand.
told,
I understand.
I think in Nigeria, like older people kind of look down on younger people, and it's very disrespectful. Like,
Yeah.
see, in my estate, people don't respect me. I feel
It's
like I don't
true.
know if they respect me or not, but I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't respect me because I'm. I don't have a pot belly. I don't have that dad. I'm daddy.
You the way I share
Going
shots.
around
Yeah,
like
when I
behaving
share
like a
shots, that's the problem.
Nigerian or
It's
behaving
true
like a
now.
Nigerian
Yeah.
daddy. I'm on my street all the time making calls with my
It's,
AirPod, or
yeah.
I'm rapping a record. I look like a typical so people I think, fellow fathers look at me and they just think I'm just one random guy. Then they now find out that I'm married and I have children and they're like, "Oh my god, oh, those are oh wow. Ah, well done, oh, eh."
Yeah.
I'm just like, so is this why you people were not giving a fuck about me before?
Yeah.
And
It's
yeah,
true.
I get what you mean. Same thing with like when you go to church,
It's true.
if you're a dad, see, one thing I swore was that as I continue to grow older, right, and I'm in my 30s right now, that I'm not going to enter that level
No, no,
where
no,
you
never.
shut down your whole life
Yeah.
and everything
Just
just
yeah.
because you're a father.
It's true.
No, 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 no. Please,
No,
I
I'm not
tell
doing
my
that shit.
kids, all right,
Mm.
it's time for me to listen to my shit. Yeah, stop your shit. Thank you. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm still going to, be my person and love all the things I'm
That
loving.
you love, yeah.
Yeah,
Live your experiences, live your own life, have your own experiences. It's true. That makes
super
sense.
important.
That's the
Super
that's the
important.
that's the best way to be the best version of yourself. Because when you shut down your life, you start having resentment for people who made you stop it, and you start just being miserable. Miserable. Do you understand?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So talking about this, right? I saw a thread on Twitter from a guy called JS Park. No, not the footballer who played for
I
Manchester
was scared for a
United,
bit.
but yeah, he's a hospital chaplain, and the guy tweeted, right, said, "I've been a hospital chaplain now for 8 years at hundreds of deathbeds, and I want to tell you something I've witnessed. Most people at the end realize they spent a lot of their life hiding, sometimes by choice or because they could not or they could not safely choose to be themselves. At a deathbed, if my patient can communicate, they show they are dying two deaths. The one they are dying and then the death of life they really wanted to live. But in their dying, some are also free to tell me who they are, what they wanted, who they had to hide, finally free. Once my patient once, my patient, as he was dying, told me something like this: what was I so afraid of? All the people that I live for are dead now, too. This is a morbid thought, harsh and very real. I catch their dying dreams as they sail off into the unreturned. I am I am a last witness. Not everyone is able to fully embody themselves, achieve their dreams, pursue their goals for all sorts of reasons, systemic and traumatic. I hope to fight and right these inequities. At at death, if I can help my patients be themselves, even for the briefest moments, I will. I have said it before and I will again. I have heard so many regrets. Please, I plead with you, live deeply. You may be young now, but it goes fast. It is a breath. Do not waste time on anyone else's vision for you. I know it is not easy. In all ways you can, please be here. This thing is so important. And I spend most of my time with my friends or with people I know trying to convince them to live for themselves. A lot of people I have met are tied, mostly, especially in Nigeria, right? Mostly are tied to their family's vision and not vision for themselves. Whether who they wanted to be, what they wanted to study, who they wanted to be with in life, so many things. You hear, and they said I should do it like this. Ah, no, if they hear this, and I'm like, when are you going to live for yourself? When? And it's so scary that as I was growing, right? Of course, the pairs of friends I had were financially tied to their parents, so they couldn't necessarily, or make these decisions for themselves, right? But even what I started to experience was, even after they gained financial independence, they were still psychologically tied to other people's vision. And it's very scary. And I try to wake people up. And it's, at times, when they wake up, it's almost like, what was I thinking all this while? Yes, I can be my own person, you know. But what is even scarier is how people notice that people have woken up and they want them to go back to sleep and they want to control them, you know. My favorite thing I always tell people is that your mother or father will die and leave you with all the things they told you to do, and then you wake up and it's too late to do the things you want to do. So better break free now. What do you guys think?
I'm saying,
Yes,
yeah, I agree with what you said. And the JS Park tweet, his thread of tweets. You came to this world alone and you die alone. So on your deathbed, you don't have regrets. You want to live this life on empty as possible as that can be. So you have to start doing things for yourself. I don't care about what the society says or what this person says or what this person says. As long as you can get happiness from it and you're not hurting anybody and it's not illegal or it's not immoral, please do you at the end of the day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. It's something I really encourage in. Like I really encourage individuality, no matter where, no matter the situations that you are. So I used to have this issue with wifey too, right? I remember one time, I can't remember. I wanted to go join a footballer friend of mine on vacation, right? Um, and wifey wasn't really happy that, oh, you have family, we've never been to this country and you want to just go. Why don't you just think about, why don't you always think about ways to go with your family, right? And you're always thinking about innovative ways and cheaper ways to go with just yourself. And I'm like, see, I want to travel the world with my family if I can afford it. I can't afford it. That's why I've not done it. Right. And then there's a cheaper way I can go. I can go on my own, right? If you have, I usually tell, like I always told that if you have that way, if you have places that you want to go and you find a way to do it that it's affecting like the future of your children financially or whatever it is, take that risk and go. Like you don't have to go with me. I don't have to go with you, like really. And like initially that used to cause a lot of issues with us, and like drop issues between us, right? Until she understood what I was talking about. Just because we are married doesn't mean we're not, like, it's not, we're not conjoined twins, right? We are people who love each other, who got married, right? But that doesn't mean you don't have a life of your own. And it was something we went back and forth with for a while until she started getting the concept. And guess who's the biggest advocate of doing things on their own, like really enjoying their moments? She's the one, and she really enjoys it, right? And just because, and she usually, like, she's very appreciative of the fact that I open her eyes to it to see that, see, you can be yourself, you can be an individual on your own, and really live your life and do what you want, despite the situation that you are. Because when you're on deathbed, you just be thinking about, oh, things that I didn't do in life. No, anything that you can afford to do, right? Just go ahead and do it. We'll be fine, because me, I have things I want to do too. Then we can come back and share our experiences and do things together too, and share experiences together. It's, I love individuality. I love when people do things on their own, take initiative, very independent. Also, wifey is like the only child, and she used to kind of like get worried with my relationship with my siblings. She'd be like, "When was the last time you spoke to this person?" I'm like, "We've not spoken for a month." Oh, she was like, "How can you have siblings and you people don't talk for a month?" If I had siblings, I'll be talking to them every day. I'll be like, "Oh, we are brought up differently, right? We're brought up to be very independent of ourselves, from the girl, my sisters to my brothers, everybody. Like we love each other, but we are living our own lives now. We all have our own families. We can't be. What do I want to be discussing with my sister or my brother every day? That's not how we are taught to live." And she really used to find it weird at that time, you know. But I think experiences have taught her that it's really possible. That's how people do things. And she really understands where I came from. Anytime I was explaining the concept of individuality and being able to own yourself, own your life, determine what you want and go after it. So that's just my experience with this thing that you just I don't know if it still fits into what you're talking about, but that's how I interpret it.
Nah, definitely fits. I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel you.
Yeah.
Talking about like speaking to siblings, right? So My wife and I, it's very different. They go into panic mode if they don't talk to each other in less than 48 hours. Like a full blown, I've seen it happen where I'm trying to speak to my mom. I can't get, okay, when last did you speak to her? Yesterday. I'm like, the fuck is, what's going on? You know? Unlike me, where I don't think I took my brother like 3 weeks or a month one time, or even my mom, then of course you can talk. So, like you said, different backgrounds, different families. Full panic mode, 48 hours. She had to once
48.
drive down.
What?
I'm telling you, bro, and it was very shocking to me
Yeah.
because I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? I
Yeah.
think that was the first year of our marriage, and the
Yeah.
same thing with, what, I'm going out, catch you later,
Yeah.
and just understanding, oh,
Yeah.
okay, you can still be individuals even though you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
And if you're married now, especially Nigerian men, if you're listening to this right now, let your wife be her own person. It's very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of men would like to keep their wife in the house. Don't go out. Where you going to? And with me. No, 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 no. Same thing for the women as well. Let your partners be who they want to be. And then if you are afraid that they will cheat, let me tell you something. Person will go
We go
cheat, go
cheat.
He go
cheat.
cheat.
Person
Now
will
the
they stay
thing
with.
be that.
People that will cheat.
It's
So
true.
if
Yeah.
cheating is the problem, go and face cheating as a problem. But
It's
don't
true.
tie padlock to anybody's leg and say they cannot go
Yeah.
anywhere. I beg.
And Nigerian men too,
All right,
they
let's
want
move
to be
on to
doing
the
their own
next.
thing. I said Nigerian men they want to doing their own
Mhm.
thing, but they want their wives to remain at home. No, you know that doesn't make sense. You
Like I
get
tell all my Nigerian men that cheat on their wives, I say it's fine, but and they justify it and they do. I say that's okay. Can your wife cheat as well? No, it's not possible. I'm like, then come on. Everything you just said doesn't make sense for me. It's fine if you want to separate your marriage. It's fine. Do your thing. Can she also do her thing? Ah, no, no, no. Then I'm like, so you are the only one that wants to be eating egusi and ofunobo.
variety is the spice of life.
Do you understand? But you want
Ice
her to be
spicy.
eating
only
stew.
only okra soup or banga.
Anyways, if it's okra soup or banga self, the guy I would define the guy as what's the wake soup? What's the
Ah,
wake soup?
in this current climate, there's
This
no way to
problem, the
save
problem with
without.
this,
That question, see,
There's
that
no way
question
to
where they
save.
ask, now I think cause of Lolugard.
The tribe.
Now I think cause Mongo
He's,
5.
he's a set off.
This, this is a setup. Just let us, they say young people have youth. We have experience, please. This experience now. I beg. Let we let go over gently. Two snake bites come out. Because soup they
jump
cause
and
wahala for this
pass.
country. Soup they cause wahala.
So this thing is going
You
to turn
bro,
tribal
one time,
immediately. Wow.
one time,
Immediately.
one time.
Immediately.
Hmm.
Wow.
Steve, thank you for that catch.
Wow.
Thank you for
I'm
that
thinking
catch.
Ayo, you were going to
No, but
jump, Abby.
I don't look at the Steve just say, hey, there was something wrong with that question. It wasn't.
I tried to set you guys off. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Okay, this is from Esso. Esso says, love, love, love the pod. I have a high key selfish idea that I think would be awesome if you considered. You guys have great taste, great range, and great insight. I think a recommendation segment would be awesome. Maybe ending each episode with a recommendations round for the week, some music, a book, an article, a recipe, could be anything. From my experience, this is a great way to connect further with your listeners and build engagement. Most, but mostly, I'm always curious about hearing. I'm always curious about hearing what's inspiring y'all every week. Big love to the big three. That's you guys, by the way. Thank you so much, Eso, for writing in. We do have a recommendation segment. We just talk too much and we never get there. And it's over 2 hours already and we have to go. That's just the problem. And then we change
That's
the
true.
recommendations again and we try and leave some, and yeah, we do. It's literally on the script. I'm staring at it here. It's here. Media, music, and movies. But yeah, it's even dated now. But we'll try and touch on a few things. Anyways, thank you so much for sending in your fan mail. Let's move on to Gary. Gary says, hello, Giants. I've been an ardent listener since the first iteration of Loose Talk. When I first started listening 5 years ago, I just joined. I had just gone through a breakup, and the pod helped me cope with the loneliness I sometimes felt. I'm truly grateful to the giants. Oh, that's so nice. Hope your breakup wasn't that bad. I remember I had one breakup and I cried. That's life. Now let's get into it. Thanks for the lead researcher who kept harping about Canada. I decided to go
Bro, this
through the
guy is a
immigration
dope human
process,
being.
and now I live in Vancouver, happily married with a kid and a second one on the
Congratulations.
way.
You beat
Life
the
is
trap.
good.
You beat the trap.
Ayo,
G-
Osagie, please.
Gary,
No, Ayo Osagie,
Gary,
please go to your
yes.
phone and go to contact. Please save my name with lead researcher. Please, just do it now. Do it now, just as we're talking. Just do it now, please. That name enter. Jesus Christ. What was I thinking? I was on Colos when I thought about it.
Uncolos,
Uncolos,
uncolos.
Uncolos, Uncolos. Anyways, shout out to you, Gary. Gary's living in Canada now. Dope, 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 dope. He says, I'm always happy to get new episodes, and I look forward to you guys starting a Patreon or other subscription services so OGs like me can put our money where our mouth is. Don't worry, we got something for you guys. You don't necessarily have to record additional content. Non-subscribers could just get delayed by a week or a few days access to the same episodes. I've run into a SAGs a few times at Sporting Lagos games. Shout out to Sporting Lagos. What do you guys, what do the Giants think of the Sporting Lagos phenomenon? And I kept hoping to run into AOT2 in Ibadan, but no luck. We still dey, we still dey care for your family, sharp. Keep going strong.
Exactly. You know they go Ibadan, and the problem with that. Now, not
That's the
waiting because they
problem.
vex. He's always in
Yeah, the last
Lagos.
time we went to Ibadan, I
You
had
know,
to,
go.
we had to
Abeg,
drag him to Ibadan, and he
abeg,
didn't take
please.
us anywhere.
Just
He didn't
by
take us
just
anywhere. He
by
was
chance, if
stuck
I'm
in
running
the.
for governor of your state, please kill this story because it's fake. Because now so they go even run against me.
Do you do you know that? Do you know that Ayo? If you are actually going to run for governor of like Oyo State, you are fucked up already because they will. This story, as fake
Mhm.
as it is,
Exactly.
your adversaries
And I
will
know who will
spin
spin
the
it for
shit.
them. There's one person I know. One dada boy is an executive. He's an editor in chief somewhere. I don't mention his name. That guy is the brain. Is the brain to my
This
existence.
the spin doctor. Anyway, shout out to Gary. Hope you're doing well. This is from Anonymous. Okay, hey men of valor. This is Anonymous again. So this person sent an email last week, right? I sent an email last week about my low interest in social media. Do you remember
Yep,
that
yep.
email, guys? Yeah. And the person says, first of all, I want to say that I am a girl and I like guys, even though I have never had a boyfriend. So it's crazy for us to always assume when people write emails in that every guy is a guy.
Sorry,
Every
man.
writer is a
We're
guy.
millennials.
You know,
We're
we
millennials.
do have a lot of, and maybe we should put out Global Village. If you're listening to this, maybe please put out a survey so we know, the percentage of or the breakdown, at least the breakdown of the kind of listeners we have, whether they're men or women, or
I
at
know
least
we
like
have a lot of women because I love women. And women love me. So I know they're
Now,
definitely
wow.
listening.
Lagos married men.
is this part of lead researcher work, or can I just continue? Thank you. Anyways, yeah. So shout out to you, Anonymous. We didn't. Honestly, apologies from us. We didn't know you were a lady. Um, and you've never had a
You didn't
boyfriend.
finish the mail.
Sorry,
Have you finished reading her mail?
I didn't know she
You didn't
was.
finish the mail.
Have you finished reading her mail?
No, no. I'm.
I'm
I'm
asking.
still. I was
Okay,
just
okay,
in.
okay.
No, was no. I haven't. I'm.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
still
okay.
reading it. But as what we do here, tradition, we can speak in between the meals. Okay. All right, she says, I am in 300 level law, so we are focused on law school. Shout out to you. Anyways, I'm happy when my mail was read. Thank you for your feedback. God bless. All right, I am done reading the mail now. Lead researcher, any comments?
No, 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 no. I just wanted like a good flow of conversation. I
No
just wanted
comments
to
from them.
ask. Yeah, no comment.
All right. Well, anybody that calls me men of valor, I don't know, but I think you're on the steady part for
Yeah.
Nigerian law. If you're I don't know if you're in Nigeria, but you say you're at 300 level, I don't know if you're in Nigeria. We're focused on law school, but like men of valor, those are the kind of,
Yeah.
you're on the right track.
Also, please stay away from men. That is
Mhm.
what is helping you keep focus. Men are bad. Please. Onward.
Please stay away
You
from
don't want her
men.
to have a
Not now.
boyfriend.
Let her be.
No, no,
Look at
no,
the
no,
babe
no,
that
no. After education.
that got first
All
class,
the
the highest forever. After education, please. I
not
said
Sorry,
after
just.
you said
education, look at that babe. Look at that babe that got the highest mark ever or highest grade ever to enter law school or something. Focus on education. Don't look at man. Man is bad.
I don't like that advice.
Hey, wait, Osage, wait. Oh, this Ayo is on
Never
something.
had a
Oh.
boyfriend.
Do you know that I've gone into this into this kind of like hole one time, right? Where something led me to. I was googling about someone and I saw that she finished in first class in school. This person graduated like in the towards like the beginning of the internet era in Nigeria, right? So I had to like the search results, and for that result to come out, it was really tough. I had to search and search, and I saw the story. Some newspaper did the story of her finishing first class, and she started talking about. And this was just immediately after this guy in Lasso, Ayo, this guy that you just referenced now, right? One of the things she talked about was that
Yeah.
she didn't have a boyfriend
Yeah.
in school. I'm like, oh, it's like this thing is a thing, no? So I started reading about all the people, all the girls who finished first class or who finished high in the department and made the news. Bro, that's how I started googling. No, all of them, like 90% of them mentioned that
Lead
they didn't have
researcher.
boyfriends
Lead researcher.
all through their school. Lead, bro, you know me now. I'm a lead researcher, but I swear, 90%, 95% of them mentioned that they didn't have boyfriends all through their study in school. I'm like, this is it. Man is distraction. So please continue with your education. Leave man for now. When you are bust up and you've graduated from law school, they will come and you'll be fine. Thank you.
You know, for the first time, I don't have a counter to this. I'm just gonna keep quiet. Anonymous, whether you're taking advice or not, just live your life, man. Just live your life. Just live your life the way you want to live your life. All right, let's get into it. Barbie marketing. What's the whole hype about this Barbie movie? Like, why is it this hyped? And I've always known Barbie as something for kids, and your kids play with a doll. There's a Barbie doll. There's a Ken doll. There's a certain age limit that it doesn't cross over. There's like age threshold, right? Why is this thing so huge amongst millennials and Gen Zs and millennials? Why? Why?
Um,
What's going on?
to be honest, I don't know. I've tried to crack it in my head. I guess like this is the first major Hollywood attempt at doing a Barbie movie, and it's being produced closely with the company that manufactures it. And I guess in this world we are living in, Barbie is not just a doll. It ties into the I don't want to use the feminist movement, but the whole body positivity image also. So there's not only one Barbie in this movie. If you watch the trailer very well, because you have Issa, is it that you have Issa, you have other people who are actually Barbies there, so there are plenty Barbies. I think it's just coming into oneself as a woman. I think that is the story. But I guess everybody's inner girl has not died, and they've tied into that emotion somehow. And the spend of the marketing has been ridiculous, has been insane and ridiculous. Also, there's the Hollywood factor. Ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, Hollywood has had it. I found it very hard to bring people back into the cinemas. Last year we had Top Gun, which brought people back into the cinemas. This year we're having Oppenheimer and Barbie. Mission
Mission
Impossible came out
Impossible.
last 2 weeks or last week. Now we have Oppenheimer and Barbie coming out on the same day. And Hollywood is agog. They're really pushing it so that people can go back to the cinemas and start watching movies again on the big screen. So I think Barbie feels into that right now. Yes. And it's just at this point, it just feels like everything just fell into the right place. But it's still, to me, I'm still wondering what the fuss is about. Because I'm not going to wear pink to go and watch Barbie.
But Barbie has been like a really popular fashion doll for a long time. I think that's
Oh,
really
yes, that's been in pop culture.
what
Yeah.
fueled the yeah. It has been a pop culture, from Nicki Minaj to like a lot of people have their personal tied around being a Barbie. So and with the huge marketing spend too that you mentioned, I think it makes sense that it's popular. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, maybe I don't just like Ryan Gosling. That's
How
also
you not go
another
right?
thing. I don't know.
I not go like
I don't
Ryan
like.
Yeah,
Gosling.
I don't like his
I
face.
don't like him.
I don't like his
He looks
face.
so fake. Like I don't like. He
Like
looks as if they.
it looks as if they
I don't know,
carved
man.
him.
He's
Yeah,
just
I know.
too. He's
Yeah,
too
yeah.
curated.
There's a movie
Yeah,
like that where
I
a
don't
babe
know.
actually said,
Yeah,
"You look as if you just came out from a magazine." This thing, yeah. He looks like the old type Hollywood guys
exactly,
who are inch perfect. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I
But
feel like
I'm
punching
watching
him in the face or
Oppenheimer,
something.
so I think that's the one for me, man.
well, we don't encourage violence in this on this podcast. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't. Thank you, my Niger Delta.
your
Ironically,
lead
from Niger
researcher,
Delta.
please.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
have you ever seen like which have you ever had a marketing in Nollywood or a so let's take away even Nollywood. Have you ever had a marketing campaign, right, in Nigeria for anything in Nigeria, any products in Nigeria that is really memorable? Osage, you too, you're a marketing
I think
professional now. So like from movies to music to
I won't
like
say
whatever
movies
it
or
is. I
music,
don't know.
but I remember in the 90s, the soft drinks like Nigerian Bottling Company and Pepsi used to go very, very hard in marketing like their latest drinks or even Coca-Cola with the big
Mm-hmm.
size. I remember Three Orange Men. Bro, literally, people
300
actually thought it was
Mirinda.
the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
the
yeah,
world
yeah, yeah.
when they saw Three Orange Men popping out in different areas in Lagos. People were speculating. Yeah, I
Bro,
would
that
not
shit
find out it
was
was a drink.
crazy.
It was, to me, that's the height. Like, that's the height. Like,
That's
fucking,
true.
that was crazy.
That's
I
true.
also
That's
remember
true.
Dewu Racer. Osage remember this very well. When 7 Up tied Dewu Racer
Yeah,
to their. So if you can spell Dewu Racer with the bottles of the drink, yeah, if you can spell
of
Dewu
the
Racer with
covers.
it, you get a Dewu Racer. And people were literally buying diabetes into their life. No, no, no. Because you are not going to see the whole
Bro,
Dewu Racer. A
yeah.
letter is going to get missing or something.
So
You are never going to see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
for context, right?
Oh,
There are a lot of
sorry.
young people that listen to this podcast. I
Okay,
don't
sorry.
understand what the fuck is going on. If you buy like of Seven Up, you would take the cover, like the cap, and then tear the rubber off it in inner. Then the a letter was spelt there, so you had different letters. If you could spell with the caps Deu, so you would have Deu was what 5 letters, 6 letters, and if you could complete the spelling, you would take that and then redeem, use it to redeem
Yeah, and
your
the Racer
Deu
was a
racer.
badass car.
People legit, yeah, Deu racer was
Yeah.
badass. It was from Deu, and people were legit winning, and they would put the winners in the newspapers and on TV, and like Ayo said, people
Diabetes
were
into their
literally buying
lives. Yeah.
diabetes.
Some of you kids out there, the reason why your popsy has diabetes, ask him what he did when the Racer, when that the Racer challenge came out. It was crazy. Oh,
You know, people were buying
Osagi,
crates of
Osagi,
Seven Up.
I remember
Crates.
the greatest. Um, ah,
Which one?
what's his name?
My own is
Thank you, Michael
Michael
Powers.
Powers,
Yeah,
Guinness.
that literally I thought that was a movie from.
Yeah. There's a whole Wikipedia page on it, I
Michael
The
believe.
dude is
Powers
dead.
was yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
now
Michael Powers
You know that
was
dude is
we'll
dead.
put it.
the
What?
guy did it. There
Yes,
was a movie now.
He's
There's a
passed
movie that
away.
he did. There's a Michael Powers movie that
yeah,
RMD
yeah,
featured
he
in
was in
now.
it.
Do you
Yes,
remember?
yes. Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
South African movie.
I never watched
So
them. I never watched it.
Guinness was losing a lot of market share in, across different regions, and especially in like Africa, right? They were losing market share seriously, and then they needed something to bring them back into the markets. And it was beyond running this kind of campaigns that we are seeing now, where win this or win that, which were very because those things were very big campaigns, anyways. Like they were super big campaigns, but they needed something else to run. And the I think it was Sachi and
Yes, I think it was
Sachi
Sachi and
or
SOU
so,
Sachi and Sachi. I think.
yes, that came up with the concept of Michael Power. He's basically an
Yeah.
advertising
So
character and became the cornerstone of like one of the biggest marketing campaigns that we've
yeah,
seen from Africa. So the whole campaign ran from 99 to 2006, and the guy was
a black James Bond.
he was like an
Yeah,
African James Bond. Yeah, it was like a black James Bond. And then they will run this. See, the brilliant thing
your run
about
is
this
in the
Michael Power
news.
character is that they were running the campaign. They will run the story, in between from maybe like 7 o'clock upwards, because that's when you could run. I think 8 o'clock upwards. That's when you could run cigarette and beer ads. I think from 7 or 8 o'clock up to like 12 a.m. or whatever, and then they will run this 15 minutes series, and it was a whole series, action packed. The guy
Yeah,
was running around, jumping on helicopters, saving people and all that, and then they will run it during that period. Then they will take that 15 minutes concept after they run it for like a few days, and we've all watched it. They will then condense it
yeah,
into 5 minutes, the same story. And let me tell you something. People were going to
Because of that
drink
shit.
Guinness
He
in
brought Guinness
droves.
back into the game.
It was crazy. And then at the height of it in 2003, right? They now shot a movie. The thing started in 99. Then 2003, they shot the movie. They did a full blown movie called Critical Assignments, starring Michael Power, of course. And RMD was in the movie. A couple of guys were in the movie. Fam, let me just tell you, it was one. Is the I think to me, is it's Diageo's greatest campaign and one of the greatest
Yeah.
campaign I've witnessed
The way it
on
was
this
run
earth.
was beautiful, Something just led me to the guy this year. I don't know why. And I Googled it and I found out that the guy died this year. Crazy. Or like last year or so. Yeah, I
Oh,
think he
he
died
died
last year or
this
this year. Yeah.
year.
Crazy. Yeah.
This year.
Recently, Sha.
Wow, his name is Cleveland
Yeah.
Cleveland Mitchell. He's a Jamaican-born British actor.
Yeah.
Uh,
People were arguing that it was, are you sure he's
No,
not dead?
Ayo. Yeah. They're saying the
Oh,
guy died
sorry.
in
Sorry.
2010.
My mind is still mixed up. All the medicine, sorry.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
you
found out
found
this
out
year,
this
sorry,
year.
that he died. And I was like, wow, this guy did not,
Yeah,
this is a Nigerian
passed
icon.
away.
People actually thought he was Nigerian.
Yeah, people thought it was Nigerian. Jamaican-born British actor. But like, fam, if you witness Michael Power, like, come on, I think we need something like that again. I don't know if we can do it in this social media era with everything so fast-paced and people not really watching TV. So what will happen is that they will just make it digital.
it's something I've been thinking about in terms of advertisements. When Ayo
Mhm.
posted something about the greatest ads in Nigerian history, right? I've been thinking about it. We've not had an impactful ad in the last 10 years. Is it because maybe our attention, social media has really widened our attention span, so
Mhm.
we don't really pay more attention, or the ads are not angels that good anymore? What do you
People
think?
are not willing to invest that amount of money in something that will be forgotten in a few weeks. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So the kind of ads you or campaigns or the strategies you use now is called always on, which means you are consistently in the face of people, and then you can't have a big budget to do something, do a mega ad that won't run over a period of time. You want to run an always on campaign for the next 3 months, then switch to another campaign again. Or something like, a big ad, you can even go viral, like a Super Bowl ad. You can go viral for like a day or two and then that's it. And in Nigeria where the budget is limited, people just want always on. So can we use influencers? Can we what other strategies can we use after we run our you know paid ads, right?
Yeah.
What else can we do? And so they're looking for like small kind of campaigns that will be always on. So I think we're past that era in Nigeria. And Nigeria, we skip like digital sorry, how do I put it? We skip eras faster than the rest of the world, especially Europe and US. For an example of what I'm saying is, other parts of the world, especially in the West, they experience like the desktop era
yeah,
using
that's
the
true.
internet,
We didn't
right?
really,
A lot
yeah,
of Nigerians didn't witness desktop era. They're
at
first to
all.
Yeah.
mobile.
Yeah, straight.
And so, yeah, so it's the same thing like in other things as well. We skip a lot of things, so we're
And
not, I
also
don't think we
back
can
then,
do it.
TV was like the god. TV was the
Mm.
apex of everything.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was, the
Yeah,
convergence
yeah.
of
Where you they go?
viewership. Everybody was viewing
8 p.m.
one
at night,
thing.
where you
It's
did? Now you're
true.
in front of your TV now, But
Yeah.
now,
So there's no way you can create an ad that is everywhere and people will talk
so
about it or pay attention or have
what
that
you can do
same
is
memory of
what,
it. The reason why we remember that Kano
yeah,
Wanko one day will make us proud was because of the moments we were watching it. We were all at home, sitting in our sitting rooms, watching it. We'll go to school, start talking
yeah,
about it. So that kind of convergence, that kind of intense market thing, you can't achieve that now because the attention is divided. Everybody's not watching TV. Everybody's not following one Instagram page to watch an ad, like stuff like that. It's just too
yeah.
scattered.
So going back to Barbie, I'm sure like the people behind the marketing of Barbie are spending a whole lot of money on digital, like everything you're seeing right now, instead of girls going to go and get TV spots and playing the trailer over and over again. You know, I have gone on
Yeah,
YouTube, not searching anything, and I've seen clips of the Barbie cast doing interviews. Like I was not even interested. Yeah, yeah. So the
same,
days of
same,
you
same,
just doing,
same.
oh, Domitila, shall know they work, oh, grab your copy now, even Lane. Doesn't work again, Nollywood. At the end of the day, doesn't work. It's a new, we are in a whole new day. The problem with Tying it back to Nollywood is that first of all, you need a brand that people are emotionally connected to. Barbie, people understand what Barbie is at the end of the day. Oppenheimer to a certain level gets that buzz because Chris Nolan. Chris Nolan doesn't fuck around with his movies. It's going to be hard for you to do a marketing campaign for a Nollywood movie and get me interested in it because I'll be skeptical. I'll be like, I beg, this people want to waste my 7K5. So I'd rather chill at home.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Speaking about Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it, right? Guys, think about this. Somebody dropped a bomb in your country and wiped out a whole generation, wiped out a whole region, and the effect of this bomb lasted in your country for decades, right? Then, decades later, someone is doing a movie about it. How would you feel? How do you think the Japanese feel
Uh,
right now?
Before I jump on the Japanese, I want to just say something because I've always thought like this, but not about the Japanese. How will Russians feel if every 3 years or 2 years, Tom Cruise, James Bond, or one bad guy in American army or American services always tries to kill a Russian bad guy, and they always picture Russia as the evil guy? Now going to Japan, I think Japan has come to terms with their role in the Second World War. They were part of the axis of evil, as it was said. They Italy and Germany, and they were the one that first they took the first shot. The reason why America joined the war was because America was chilling on their own and they did Pearl Harbor. And America said, okay, fuck it, man. You're fucking around. You're gonna see at the end of the day what's happening. And it happened. I think Japan has come to terms with its role in the Second World War. And Germany also. I'm sure all these Nazi movies that are going around, Germany were like, fuck it, it's our L, and we're taking our L for life. So they just have to sit back and watch it. They might not watch it at the end of the day, but it is what it is. It's history.
But here's the thing, and the difference between this and like the James Bond movie or the Tom Cruise movies, right?
Oh yeah,
Those
yeah.
are fiction. This happened. This is real. And then there's a Hollywood blockbuster movie, and everybody is cross promoting it with Barbie, and
Yeah.
it's everywhere, right? And people are making jokes about. There's some people who are alive whose grandparents
Oh
were
yeah.
killed.
Definitely. Yeah. But
Remember, right? It's not the people. So everybody in Japan didn't vote to go and
yeah,
bomb
but
Pearl Harbor. You had innocent people who were living
yeah,
in a
yeah.
certain region
Yeah,
who
but
were
back
bombed.
back in those days was the country. There was not like dissident voices at the end of the day. But
But how
I'll
would
feel
you
bad
feel
at the end of the day.
if
No,
your
I'll feel
grandfather was
bro.
killed in
I'll
Hiroshima
feel
or
bad at the
Nagasaki
end of the day.
and there's a whole
But
fucking movie about it? And then they wanted to
but
take the
you know
movie
what
to Japan.
happens? You can do your own version. There are countries that do their own versions of their own events. There was an event. I think that one happened. I can't remember which one. Oh, it was this one about what's the name of that nuclear plant that blew up in Russia that that created that whole disaster. I've forgotten it. Anybody that can remember that? Yeah. Chernobyl, this thing.
Chernobyl.
Netflix did a Chernobyl series. Even one season series, right? So when HBO did the Chernobyl thing, right? Russia immediately came out down like next 2 months or the next month and did their own version of things. But I guess for real life events, especially when it comes to war, war is ugly, war is bad, and events are events. There's no beating around the bush about this. Japan might feel bad about it because at the end of the day they lost. But it is what it is. It's just life. And which brings me back to like what you said now. Just trigger something in my mind. When eventually that war on Biafra war is done, we're going to have a serious problem in this country, right? For the next 3 months or 4 months, or even for the next 3 years or 4 years, because the finger pointing, the accusations, the counter accusations will not be laid bare. I guess when it comes to war movies like this with history, is never ever clean. War is not clean. War is dirty. War is ugly. War is painful. It is what it is at the end of the day.
I get. I'm reading an article on Insider. It says, will Oppenheimer be in Japanese theaters? It says Japan hasn't completely banned Oppenheimer from its theaters, but neither is there a release date for the movie in the country. A Universal spokesperson told Variety in June that plans have not been finalized in all markets. This suggests that Japanese audiences won't be able to see Christopher Nolan's movie at the same time as the rest of the world, as Towa, the biggest Japanese distributor of Hollywood films, has yet to decide on its release plans per Variety.
Yeah, too
Thankfully,
sensitive.
Japanese audiences will. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's sensitive, man. It's
It's very
sensitive.
sensitive. It's war
It's
now.
sen-
Come on, it's
Half of
war.
the Yellow Sun was not even shown in Nigerian cinemas.
£8 million down the drain. It's a shame.
I remember there was a whole premiere. Was it a premiere or something? Because I know I think I went for a premiere or
So they were
something,
planning
but
a
I don't think
premiere. They were
they.
planning a premiere ahead of
Yeah,
the ahead of it going to the cinema when
yeah.
MBC came out and told them that it wasn't going to. They were not going
Too
to
much
approve
sex
it,
scenes.
and that's why everything just
Yeah, I
crashed.
remember
Yeah,
because I think it was in Sule, one of the cinemas I went to, and we went for like a whole press conference, whatever, whatever about it. And the posters were there, and they said they were going to show it. Oh, the reason the reason was too much sex scenes.
Yeah, they said tendinity on showing too much breast, which was not is never a problem for me, but
No, but you just cut that part out in the movies now.
they still cut it out. I remember I think I got the version for me on USB. I know I got like I think that's why I watched it from you. You gave me on USB or something. I can't remember. And
Mm,
you all know the
no, don't put me on the spot
okay,
like
sorry,
that, guy. Why
It's
you?
just like
This is
somebody else that was working the net. The guy has traveled now. He's in Antarctica. Somebody else.
he's dead. He's
Dead.
dead. He's
Dead. He's
dead.
dead and
Uh-huh.
buried. When I watched the movie, I was like, bro, there's no how you bring out this movie now and people will not. Everybody will be uneasy. Especially that scene at the airport where Igbos were shot, where they lined them up and they killed them. Bro,
Hmm.
that was back then when iPop was not as iPop now. Do a
Hmm.
Biafra movie now, sit at home for a year. Nobody's coming out. All of you are mad. Yeah, so it's touchy, man. Doing war movies, there has to be a clear victor and vanquished. And I think decades should have passed where you cannot say, okay, yes, we cannot do like a proper war movie. But even still in war movies, people are still very touchy at the end of the day. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's touchy. It's touchy. I'll just move on from it. So let's move on from something sad to something funny, and I'm using funny in air quotes. LOL, last one laughing. What's this whole thing about Nigerian comedians not being able to crack it? Steve, you've been very passionate about this topic.
Steve
No,
brought
I've
out
not been.
grass.
I've been passionate about the conversation about Nigerian comedians, not about LOL. But it's just that the reviews have really not been good.
Mm-hmm.
In it,
Who've been the people
people who watched it,
who you've watched?
my neighbor included. She was really very angry that that it was on Prime. She thinks it's an she thinks it's an insult on the
Oxymoron.
platform. Yeah, and also we received quite a review on our group chat from a journalist who don't want to be mentioned because of the attachments, something attachments, right? But it's not a good series, and I'm not surprised. And the reason I never bothered to even watch it because I knew it was going to happen because of my opinion, which I'm going to state also on this podcast of Nigerian comedians. Nigerians, we don't have I think our era of great stand up, not really great of good stand great. Okay, let me just say great stand up to be fair to our goats. I think it's over. We don't have them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
I think we have MCs who just know how to crack one or two jokes at best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you have a new era. So,
yeah.
question: who are the comedians on the LOL last one laughing? Who are the comedians performing? Are these popular comedians or are these people we haven't heard of or breakout artists, breakout
Ayo, can you
acts?
answer that? Because I really can't. I know
Yeah.
there's Gucci, there's Ganduki, there's
From what I saw, I think they bombarded TikTok with a lot of indirect ads. So I could see Bucci, I saw Tauma, I saw Kiki, those are Instagram comedians. I saw Sabinus, the man of the hour. Or who again did I see? I can't just remember. I think those are the people that I can recollect. Basketball was the anchor, and it had this kind of reality TV show vibe to it, where they test your humor level. And I just skipped whenever I saw it because, to be honest, like what Steve has said and what we've all said in the group for a while, I think Nigerian comedy has dipped a lot in terms of stand up. I think generally in comedy it has really dipped, And the painful thing is now that when the world has come to our doorstep and given us international platforms, we are not ready. There's one thing to say, oh, let Africa or let Nigeria in, and they let you in, and nobody's laughing. For a while, for last 10 years, I've always wondered why people pay good money to go to hotels, like hotel venues, and go and watch comedians who can make them laugh. I've never
Yeah.
really understood that. Like that is the height of pissing away your money. Because when I want to laugh, bro, I know the people I Google on my YouTube, man. I put on my YouTube, and these are goats, these are killers, and they don't have to crack a joke. They can just talk to you about the
Tell
state
a
of the nation.
story. Yeah.
Like I'm not comparing
Commentary.
apples and oranges, but craft is craft, technique is technique. When you see Dave Chappelle do his thing, this is elite shit right here.
Elite.
You know,
Top level. Top
I know
level.
a lot of people say, "Oh, Kevin Hart is this thing," bro. Kevin Hart is light years away from the
What?
the top comedians we have in this country. Kevin Hart is, and that shows you how high America is. If people can say, "Man, Kevin Hart is not among the goats," and Kevin Hart admits that, like, bro, I'm not among the greats. I'm just a hardworking guy. We still have a lot of work to do, and that's because people think humor is inborn and it's not supposed to be
Yeah.
refined, and we're not supposed to work at it. You're not supposed to hone your craft.
As long as I'm from Worry.
Before you see any American comedian get a national tour where he's performing in arenas, he has done at least 10 to 15 years in small clubs around America, getting
We
booed
don't,
off
we don't, we
stage,
don't even have
your
the
material.
comedy.
Yeah, Steve, you want to say
Sorry,
something?
Ayo. Sorry,
No,
Ayo.
yeah, you want to say
I would say
something?
we don't even have the comedy club culture where people can build a career, build
Yeah,
their
you don't.
art, and
That's the
just
small. Yeah,
perfect it.
yeah.
We don't have it. We don't have anything. We don't have like the comedy industry does not exist in Nigeria,
No.
and the industry means those circles, those like club circles that you can perform to on your skills as a comedian. So what happens is that people are really funny in Nigeria. Like Nigerians are really funny. You see it on social media.
Yeah.
Our sense of humor is mad. People from Nigeria that are people. If you go to Warri, if you leave Lagos and go to Warri now, for your normal interaction, you just be laughing. People are really funny. But being funny is not. Being
It doesn't
funny
make you a
does not
stand-up
make you a
comedian
comedian. Yeah, it doesn't
at
make you a
all.
stand-up comedian. It's an act. It's something that you have to learn on and study. And these people are not taking it as an act. They're just taking it as vibes. Just go there and talk and clown yourself and people start laughing. You know. One thing about Nigerian comedy is that Nigerian comedy started from like peaked, like really what really made was Night of a Thousand Laughs. And Night of a
Yeah,
Thousand Laughs
Okpa Williams.
that time at the level of exposure that Nigerians had, right? And at a level at that time, it was really good. It was up to a level. But the problem is that as the audience have grown, the comedians themselves the comedians have not grown, right? Um, and that's why there's this lack of like this death of really good stand-up comedy in Nigeria. Yeah, it's just sad because something was mentioning why if a Nigerian comedian can go the Trevor Noah way, I'm like, nobody can do that. The only person who I think might can be able to do that is Bovi, but
Yeah,
I don't think he has the network and connections to go to that level because Trevor had access to like the best writers, and the best team. He was on Daily Show. I think stuff like that can really propel you to have like a really good stand-up career in America and internationally. But apart from Bovi, basketball, I think he has. I don't know. I don't think he's still. He has not shown me in the last 2 3 years that he's on that level. So yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's pretty difficult for comedians out here in Nigeria. The industry is not thriving. It's not stand-up comedy is not thriving as it used to be from the Alibaba era. Night of a Thousand Laughs, Pascal Mount, Kiba Kasi and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yep.
All right, so thank you very much, Steve. Our lead researcher failed to when he puts this point down, this last one
Voila
laughing point
there.
down, and I asked him, what's it all about? He had no idea, and he had to deflect to the true lead researcher, which is Ayo.
I beg,
So
please.
you claim to be a lead researcher and you have no idea. One Google just took me to the platform
Voila
on
there.
Prime Video, and I've seen already. So, LOL, last one laughing Niger in its first season. First of all, LOL, last one laughing has different um
It has been a
um
successful show in different countries.
Yeah, like Big
exactly.
Yeah.
Brother.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so there's been the last
It's a
one,
franchise.
laughing
Yeah.
US, it's franchise, Netherlands. I've seen a couple of, so I'm just checking the Niger page now. in first season, Basketball hosts 10 of the funniest and craziest Nigerian comedians in a room for 6 hours. They will do anything possible to make each other laugh, except laugh themselves. The last one laughing wins the game and 40 million naira for a charity of their choice. I saw a few of the cutouts on social media, right? Where Baskama was sitting down and they tried to make him laugh. And some of the jokes that they were trying to even make weren't that funny, to be honest. And I didn't even laugh, so I didn't expect Basketball to laugh. But yeah, it has about 4 episodes now. And I think my own feedback is so just like every other thing. So Steve, you mentioned there are no comedy clubs and all that. They feel they're not just enough.
Yeah.
And it's just like every other thing we're facing, right? Which is there are no proper infrastructures. And so you cannot create a pipeline of, you know, the next talents. Just like what we're facing with football, basketball, whether it's sports or everywhere. That pipeline
The structure
if there were enough
is not
if
there.
there were enough comedy clubs, those funny people you're talking about to say, you know what, let me try this thing, let me go there, let me learn, and then they see older people who can teach them, then they're comedy club owners. There's a whole ecosystem that exists in other places that don't exist here. And so what you have is like raw talent that cannot be processed because we don't have the infrastructure to process them.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's basically the problem we're having. So comedy clubs in Nigeria, you have the likes of Kolamide, who's doing very well. And you guys can check him out on
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah,
His name
yeah,
is
yeah,
Kolamide and all these
yeah.
Yeah.
guys. They're trying, they're doing their best. SLK,
Aproko
etc,
is not
etc.
bad too. Yeah.
You know, and all that. So there can be more. There definitely more that can be done. But again, social media has also diverted our attention. And when you guys are talking about the US, I don't even want you to talk about the Bill Burrs, the Dave Chappelles. Let's go to like the lower leagues. Let's go to the B list and the C
Oh,
Leandro
list.
Shaws,
We're
yeah,
always even leaving up to me. Andrew Schultz is leaving US, going to Canada, and going
to
to
I
do
think
South
at
international
this
shows.
Africa.
level
Talking
now,
about
have you heard
basic
about this new guy?
comedy.
Sorry to break the news.
Sorry,
There's a new guy. He
yeah,
used to be on
the what?
Wilding Out. He's now like
Mm-hmm.
the biggest American stand-up comedian on TikTok, and the guy is doing mad numbers. It's big. The big boys are talking about him because it's going to be a problem. He looks like an NSYNC member. He looks like all those Justin Timberlakes back then.
Oh, that
That
white guy.
white,
Is it that
yeah,
white
that
guy?
tall white guy,
So
bro,
that's my favorite
bro.
guy
That
right
guy
now.
is crazy, and
I've forgotten his
you can
name.
see how he has learned. He learned. He went to Winding Out again, where he could hone his improv skills to get to where he is right now. I think
Mhm.
our communities need to know that this thing is an art, you know.
His name is Matt
Yeah,
Rife.
Mike Rife. Yeah, everybody loves him. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's really
It's
dope.
really dope.
When I see stuff on Twitter or Instagram, they are
It's
always
fun. Yeah,
dope. He's
it's a
on the
craft.
spot, unscripted.
Hmm.
He's fucking
Yeah,
dope. So I'm talking about people like that. I'm talking about like C list. I don't know if you guys what Netflix is a joke. There are like a lot of comedians
oh
I haven't heard
yeah,
about
yeah,
before, and they're killing it. On in the comedy scene. So we just need those places. We need those
yeah.
spaces for these guys to exist and for us to discover them.
Def.
Discovering them is the main problem. And for Prime to do this, they looked around, they scanned, and they saw, okay, maybe we get Talma. Talma is not a stand-up. She's not a comedian.
So
She's a sketch
so what I
artist,
want to say is that
which is very different from
yeah,
being a
thank you.
comedian,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
There is stand-up comedy, there is slapstick comedy. Slapstick comedy is one that works well on TV, that works well on our social media, where people use they use a lot of physical gesticulations,
Mhm.
to make people like Sabinus, people like Tauma. That is what we are really good at in Nigeria. If we must really
Yeah.
do that. Stand up, you don't have to even move a muscle. Like, let's go back to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle just walks the stage and doesn't, you do see him shouting, doesn't, but once he talks, you just laugh at the end of the day. That aspect of stand up is the hardest part. Stand up comedy is the hardest part of comedy because you have to be very, very brilliant at what you are doing. You must be an orator, you must be a narrator, you must know how to deliver jokes promptly. And it is we can clearly see that they can't do it. It's not that because they're not funny, they've not just honed that craft.
You're right. Absolutely right. So during the week after our last episode, right? OG, triple OG, Bio Mishori sent me a text message and it says, rejoinder on Dele Alli. I'm looking forward to the next episode. This is after the video of Dele Alli's family, broke out, right? I now replied him and said, Steve is going to cook me. And then he replies, I'll be there no matter what.
With the utensils, with the spatula.
All right, Steve, you can go ahead with the cooking.
Where do I start from?
God has vindicated you, my brother.
My brother. When was the last time I lost an agenda? When? Can you remember?
Lead researcher. He researched into the future.
I've never seen him. I've always seen him as a dishonest person. Even the way he handled his career, and the even interview. There's no single, he didn't take any responsibility for where he was, where his career went. I can't take such a person serious now. So my point about all this is, I know mental health is a thing. My point is, when you are in best position of your life and you have so much responsibility and you have enough resources, you should be sensible enough to say, okay, let me use the resources available to me to seek help, not waiting for your career to suffer a dive before saying you're going to seek help. So, and obviously he told many lies in that interview. I knew, because there was one time I was onto this Dele Alli story. You guys remember now, the pause days that they even wrote us, to stop covering it. So I knew
his PR team wrote you
his
guys.
His team wrote post now. Sorry, you forgot him because I think you received the company received that letter and through you, and you received it too before you handed it to me.
Wow.
You've forgotten. But they wrote us to actually stop covering him and his parents, especially after the dad in 2018 or so released the photo of him in Lagos. That Dele Alli spent some months a year in Lagos or so, and attended secondary school and some primary schools, a primary school in Lagos. And that's when the story started coming out about the relationship and stuff like that. And we're really exploring it. I think we wanted to do an interview with the dad at that time, or something very close, before they wrote us later, and we were like, just avoid that. Just move on.
It was Bembasi.
It wasn't Osagie. It's true. It's Bembasi. It wasn't Osagie. That's why I didn't remember. So I apparently had like some knowledge of the story, especially from the family side. That's why I never believed him, and I've never liked Dele Alli, to be very honest. So maybe I was also biased in my opinion about the whole interview. So that's it.
Anyway,
all right. Shout out to Dele Alli. We wish him the very best.
Yep.
Let's talk about this tuition increment real quick.
Yeah, very
fast
quick.
one. Unilag, and Ayo, this is your school. This is you. So
no,
this
I'm
is
not
on you.
Somebody now said,
somebody now introduced Tinder.
somebody said they finally increased the tuition fee to the amount he has been taking from his parents for all these years.
You can explain. A lot of people like don't cast now. It's a cast.
You go explain.
Explain that. No evidence.
My department had been, let me look for what Dayo sent, because I asked Dayo, and Dayo actually sent a memo. But basically, it's
so
just.
Who the fuck is Dayo now? Is he the PR? Is he the PRO of
Dayo too? Excuse me, please. Dayo too is also Alma Mater, please. Excuse me.
But who the fuck is he now? I'm not Unilag. Why does his message? What does it matter?
My set na analog. You're on a digital set, so now then goes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me read it. We have observed. Let me look for the reason. Okay, sorry, this is not it. Okay, I can't find it, but it has to do with the cost of living right now, the cost of everything, and they just have to increase the prices. Simple as that. No long.
So they increased it from what to what?
They increased it from, I think, barely 20K, or I'm not sure. But what you quote me, because when I was Unilag, bro, I don't think I was up to 15K to 100 plus 100K now. That is where we are right now.
Who put down this topic on the sheet?
I did. Lead researcher did.
Lead researcher. What price did they increase it from? From what to what?
I don't know now.
The damn fucking lead researcher. How can this be going on?
No day Unilag again. That's why I didn't want to bother.
They still did.
They will still do.
Listen to us. Hold on, I found it here now, please. Shout out to Punch newspaper, their Bodhenry family. You didn't like high
assistant lead researcher. Go on.
Chris. Unilag hikes tuition fees from 19K to
Oh,
190,000, 250
more.
naira. Others.
From
And
19,000.
hey, hey,
You know how many people that can't pay
Yeah, a
that?
lot of people.
bro, if you have babe in Unilag, your money has increased, my guy. Um, yes, you can't just enter the campus anywhere again.
That's
Uh,
true. You know how many
Funny
texts
enough, I don't have.
sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, Steve. You know how many texts go out since that memo went out?
hmm,
You know how many, if you calculate the number of texts that went, babe, not babe, how do them babes call their sugar daddy? What do they call their sugar daddy?
Zadi.
What's the pet name?
Oh no,
What's-
please, Zadi.
Then the zaddy will just send an audio back. You go explain. Oh, no evidence.
I actually have no problem with I have little. Let me just say I have no problem. I don't. I have little problem with the increment in tuition fee for tertiary education. You can see on that sheet. There's also the Unity School. Federal government have announced increase in tuition fee for Unity schools,
wow.
and that's where my problem lies. Like you like basic education, primary school and secondary school should be, even if it's not free, should be
Should be
really
free.
it should be really cheap. It's just universal
Yeah.
basic education, because I believe that if people have, if the citizens have strong primary and secondary school education, they don't really need
Mhm.
tertiary education as we do now in Nigeria. That's why a lot of people go to school, and also because it's cheap. We don't need tertiary
Yeah.
education to really like start off in life, right?
Yeah.
People can go into
Absolutely.
trades, technical skills, then go learn technical skills or whatever it is. It has to be before you go to university. You have to, one, you have to be able to afford it. Two, it has to be something like really, really, how do I put it? Really, really unique. So this, the reason why Nigerians go to school a lot is just because that's one of the surest way out of really like poverty. When people go to school, go and take a banking job and start, and like banks back in 2010, bankers were only 100K wearing stats shirt. Like the people were aspiring to be bankers, right?
My brother.
Exactly. So things like that, just graduating and having a job is a dream.
If you don't graduate,
You get,
if you don't go to university
yeah.
to show that you are knowledgeable, you go
You go
explain. No evidence. No
yeah,
evidence. Do you understand?
yeah,
I'm serious. That's what it is.
yeah.
Do you know it was my exposure to like the western part of the world that I started to understand that not everybody goes to college or university
Exactly.
so that they are
Yeah,
successful.
exactly.
I thought that was the pathway, right? You
Exactly. You
had to
have to
go
go
to
to school.
university. So
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. So we
You're
need
right.
that
Don't let's dwell
strong.
too much on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're introducing a new section on the podcast, new segment rather on the podcast, and it's called Loose Talk Trivia. And it's simply me asking Ayo and Steve questions, and then we'll, do a tally and see who's leading at the end of the year or something, or the end of the season, whatever. So I have 5 questions here, Steve, Ayo, right? And you guys can choose from 1 to 5. If you answer the question successfully, you get 2 points. If you can't, the question is then transferred to the other person, and the person gets that question, the person earns a point. Are the instructions clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ayo. Steve, are the
Yeah.
instructions clear?
It's clear now. If I come out last for
Okay.
this thing, you know, go funny for anybody for this podcast. Though. I tell you.
Well, the good part about it is that it is solely dependent on you. You can't blame it on any factor.
Don't worry. Wait till then. Make it happen first.
You will find a way.
I'll find a way.
You'll find a way. All right, so we have 5 questions here. Who wants to go first?
Ayo.
I'm going first.
Okay, Ayo, 1 to 5. Which question? Which question? What number? Pick a number.
5.
5, just like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Omotola Jalade Ekende is one of Nollywood's most celebrated actors, right? But
Yeah.
in 2005, she released a music album. This is her debut music album. The album was
God
produced
damn.
by OJB Jazreel, featured the likes of Rugged Man, Sound Sultan, and 6 if I am correct. Yes. What is the name of the album?
God have mercy. It was a red album.
Mhm. Red
Please,
cover.
should I? Is it my
Okay,
turn?
Steve, no, it's not.
Uh,
The problem is that you guys can actually be googling this thing
That's my
because we're
problem.
recording.
You're giving him enough time. You're giving him too much time to do it. That's the
I am
so
remembering.
it's your
I am
turn. 10
remembering.
seconds.
I am remembering.
5,
I know it was,
4,
Ah,
it was the one that
3,
Ba. Is it
2,
Ba? Ba.
1. Correct.
that's so. We don't
Uh-huh.
Google that.
I know
Say,
it's
You Google that shit.
Nigerian.
you Google
Ayo,
that
you
No,
shit.
I
Google.
can't
You Google
remember
that
Ayo,
the
you
shit.
Google
name.
that.
Nah,
You
I didn't
Google the
Google that shit.
shit.
Ayo,
Sorry. I didn't Google that shit.
ayo.
Hey,
Guys,
Steve, you know you're
guys.
Ayo.
messing with.
If at the end of the year, if at the end of the year I finish last, you guys know the reason,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It's just because I'm not cheating, right? Yeah.
Oga, pick your
Ayo,
question. Pick
Ayo
your
cheated.
question.
You can hear
I
the
don't know what you're
line,
talking
Ayo.
about. Which
You fucking cheated.
line? Which line?
Ayo, I'm canceling that question.
That one that I bought with my hard-earned money as a Unilag student that year. I beg.
Ayo, swear on your Unilag certificate that you didn't cheat right now.
At
Is
this
there enough
point,
use
Unilag
for your life?
certificate
If
is
you swear
worthless.
for him now,
Unilag,
so that
I beg. That certificate is going to sit down. I beg. I not use that. I beg. What's Unilag certificate? You don't even say Harvard or this is Unilag certificate. I
Ayo
beg.
cheated. And this is the first time I'm seeing Ayo cheat. I'm very disappointed. Nigeria has really happened to Ayo.
What the hell? Okay, ask me
Nigeria has
another
really
question.
happened.
Ask me another question.
You've missed it. That's 0. It's off to Steve. You
Wow.
cheated. And
Wow.
now, guys, you have only 5 seconds to answer it. If you can't answer within 5
Okay.
seconds, forget it.
All right.
I am Steve.
Yeah.
You have 1 to 4. I 0. Boom.
number 4.
You have
Wow.
number 4. Okay. 5 seconds. That's it. If you don't answer within 5 seconds, 0. I'm transferring it to the next person. In France 98, right? France 98, the football World Cup tournament. The Super Eagles lost their third group game to Paraguay, 1-3. Who scored the only goal for Nigeria?
Is it Vitor? Is it Vitor Beba?
Wrong. Ayo, over to you.
Tijani Babangida?
Wrong. All right. The answer is Wilson Oruma.
Really? Wilson Oruma has a World Cup goal? God
Yes.
damn.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you. Tijani Babangida scored the goal against Denmark in the second round.
I know you scored one shot.
All right. So we have questions 1 to 3. Ayo, pick.
1.
What is the name of Blackface solo sophomore album?
Ghetto Child.
Wrong. That's the name of his solo debut album. Steve.
Evergreen.
Sorry?
Evergreen album.
Correct. Steve has 2 points.
Come on.
He's now Joro now.
How?
You know me blackface
Steve
head.
has 1 point. Steve has 1 point because a bonus question. Steve has 1 point. All right, we have 2 questions left. Steve.
What number? 3.
Okay. Who was the vice presidential candidate of the National Republican Convention (NRC) in 1993? Of course, you know the presidential candidate was Bashir Tofa. Who was the vice
5 seconds
presidential
on
candidate?
pass. 5 seconds on pass.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ayo.
I have no fucking idea, bro.
All right. His name was Sylvester Ugo.
Oh,
That's
who
not
know that
hard,
one
man.
now?
Come on, that's just
Who know
many
that
years
one?
ago.
I
You
know
guys are
King
old.
Igbe, but I didn't know you. No,
King
I didn't
Igbe
know
was
that
for
one.
the SDP, was the vice presidential candidate for SDP.
That one
Yes.
we know. Because now that one where everybody vote for that year.
Now King Be
Okay.
name I really
And
try to remember, but I forget. Now me cannot talk anything.
no problem. All right, we have 1 more question left. Who's that going to? That's Ayo, right?
Yeah,
That's question 2. Are you ready?
I am ready. As I can
Okay,
be.
you know every state in Nigeria comes with its own slogan, right? Which state has the
God.
slogan "Home of Peace"? This one is very funny.
Jos.
No,
Jos.
wrong. I am Steve.
Really?
Benue. No. It's Benue.
Wrong.
It's Bono.
Benue is food basket.
It's B. Bono. I know it's a B state. I'm sorry.
No. Yes,
sorry,
but you said
it's
Benue
Bono.
already, so you missed it.
It's
I
Bono.
know.
It's
I'm
B
sorry.
state. Fuck.
Calm down, Steve.
It's B state. I don't know why I didn't say. Bono is the food basket. I'm sorry. Oh, fuck.
Benue is the food basket.
It's
You
the
are
food
mixing it
basket.
up.
Bonnie is the bro. No
Steve, I
wahala, no
accept your
wahala.
apology, but you are still wrong. All
It's
right. Is it
fine, it's
not
fine.
ironic that Bonu is the home of peace?
It was before
That's why I was supposed to mention Bonu.
before the
I
other
didn't know
B
you didn't
entered.
mention Bonu.
All
Oh,
right. So at the end of this trivia segment, there has a winner emerges with just 1 point. This you guys were shitty in this game, but yeah,
We're
Steve
just
has
warming
one
up
point.
now.
we're warming up. We're
Steve
Don't
warming
has
worry,
up.
1 point.
We're
I mean,
warming
you
up.
I
guys,
can't get. I'm
you
warming up.
guys,
Don't worry. Next week. Don't worry.
Who wants to be a
you
millionaire?
you be by your computer ready to Google everything.
To go
You watch it. Oh, right. ChatGPT and the 5 versions of ChatGPT. Let's go.
um
Don't worry. The way I'll do it, it won't be easy for you to get the answer if you just Google immediately. The
yeah.
way I'll
All
do it
right.
next one.
God day. God
The way
day.
I'll do next one. All right, man. Now let's go quickly. We have a meal for Ask the Giants. We have an Ask the Giants meal, right? Remember, Ask the Giants. If you guys are going through shit in life, just come and pour it all up on us. It can be education. It can be anything about life, relationships, whatever. The Giants are here to walk you through it, right? Successfully, hopefully. This is from Anonymous. Hello, fellow giants. Hope you guys are rocking right. I like to share my problem with you. Since I have a girlfriend of 2 years. We've been staying together for the past year, and everything has been great until about 5 months ago. She's become very religious and fasts almost every week. With her fasting, we don't get to have sex regularly anymore. I'm talking 2 weeks straight. No touching, nothing. It's been terrible, and I haven't been thinking straight anymore. Guys, I've been very patient with her. I've explained to her how I want our sex life to go back to the way it was, but she's adamant about her fasting and has told me she doesn't know when it will end or if it will end, you know, at all. I have been meaning to propose to her this year, but with the way things are going, I have had to think about myself. There are compromises and there is stupidity. I think I'm going to walk. I want to know what you guys think. All right, who wants to take this first?
Steve, please do, because if I answer, it will be like as if I'm harsh. So I think
Um
Steve knows how
let's let me,
to be very
let me first go with the
soft on
first
this
let me
thing.
first just go with the cliche, right? Which is the cliche is like, you have to like communicate. Like you guys have to talk this thing out and um you guys have to like talk about this thing. Just communicate your frustration, and she will also communicate her reasons for why she's doing what she's doing. And that's it. That's just like the cliche response, which is like the general response. The other thing I want to add is, life is not perfect, right? You don't expect to have like no, there's no perfect partner anywhere. Even if this does not happen, there's something she will also be doing that you don't like, right? I think it's good that the thing that you don't like about your woman is that she's religious, that she goes to church. It's not really that. It's not the end of the world. It's a good thing. Like it's not as if I'm saying, oh, it's good for you. I'm just saying it's not bad. Like it makes sense, right? At least you understand. Like she's spiritual. She's trying to know God, trying to be closer to God. In the religious way. And although it might not align with your lifestyle, and your urge, your sexual urge, apart from talking it out, it's not a bad thing, right? Some people's problem that their wife that loves going to club. Their people's problem is that their life keeps so many friends, for so many friends. Some people's problem is that their wife, like going out and spending money. Like that's the worst thing that could happen to you than your wife has gone religious and she's fasting every time, and you can't have sex for 2 weeks. I understand your frustration, but that's the worst things happening in life, my brother. So while you are really frustrated, you have to put things in perspective and understand your own position. And and this is from the lead researcher. Thank you.
Holy police.
We
Thank
did.
you
We have
very
share,
much,
we have
Steve.
share, bro. Now we have share
Um,
now. Holy police can't be talking down on someone who's fasting now. You know. Do you understand?
Thank you very much. Lead researcher, stroke holy police.
Thank you. And
Ayo,
I like
over
it when
to
you I
you.
like it when you call me that name. Sorry, immediately I said it there. It sounded funny. I'm sorry.
Pause,
I'm
pause,
sorry. I've never
pause,
said that again in
pause,
my life.
pause,
Yeah,
pause,
yeah.
pause.
I'm
That's
so
the
sorry.
energy there was too much.
Bro, immediately I talked the thing. I
Ayo,
know say I don't fuck up.
Ayo, it means more make him put daddy at the end.
Yeah, that would that no that the rainbow would have just totally been too much. Okay, Steve has given you the very nice, answer. As for me and my household, me, I cannot do this one. I cannot be unevenly yoked in a relationship where I'm not having sex. I'm sorry. We're not in the Old Testament. We're not in the Judaism law, the era. No, I'm very, very sorry. I will communicate my feelings. And if through our communication we do not have a common ground, then say go be.
Wait,
What's
sorry.
that
Please
saying?
excuse me. I want to say
To
something.
thy tent, to Israel.
Yeah,
To
let
the,
me say something.
yes, sir.
I'm sure these guys are in their 20s.
Yeah,
I'm
feel
like,
free.
I'm sure these guys are in their 20s. Like, I'm not very, very like specific. Like, I'm not certain, but from like the description of the relationship is a couple. They are not married, so I think they'll be in their 20s or maybe early 30s, and plans to get married. Now you are the one wanting the sex, and you the vex. There's a time that will come in your life. Where she be the one wanting the sex, and you be running.
He said, let it come. Steve,
I'm
no, let it
telling you, my
come.
brother.
Let the time
So
come.
now that
Something must kill a
you are
man.
in this position, no do pass yourself, oh, because you are going to be in the other. You are going to wear the other
Time
shoe.
come. Let the time. Something must kill a man. For me, oh, in my own shoes, I cannot be in this situation. I'm very sorry. I cannot be in bed with a senior mother in Israel and I'm not having sex. I'm sorry. Please. It doesn't work for me. You can follow Steve's advice, but my advice is it doesn't work. There has to be a middle ground. Like all of a sudden, you're now Mother Teresa. Why? No, 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 no.
Osage, the
No,
fate of
no,
the
no, no.
universe is on you. You are the decider here. You have to be very careful. I'm telling you. Be
Sorry.
very careful here.
Possible. Walk.
Doo-doo-doo. See, here's how I see it, right? I like the fact that the guy isn't just talking away his feelings and saying, let's see how this thing goes. He is very clear on what he wants. And Steve, I feel you because this problem, I feel what you're saying when you say, oh, it's a good problem, right? She's religious, she's praying, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. What if that is not the guy's MO? Whether you are religious, whatever, a problem is a problem to him. And for him, he wants to have constant coitus, right? Double C. And if he can't get it, bro, what's the point if there's his wife is the most religious person and everything, blah 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 going on, fine, right? But he's not going to be happy in the house. And he's on the verge of getting married, right? And he's looking at it that, hey man, I'm going to get married. Is this what's going to happen? For him, he knows himself. He wants to have constant sex. That is, you have to respect that as well. So if it's not going to work, and this way, comes in that whole thing about being compatible, comes in different emotionally, physically, everything, financially, right? And if one doesn't check out, then everybody can just call it quits. Now, having said that, there's also something called compromise because today it can be, oh, sex, tomorrow you meet another person, you have to compromise on something. There's no perfect scenario, there's no perfect anything. But if Mr. Man, this gentleman who wrote to us, cannot compromise on this, it's also good not to force it. Because you get married now, you're not having sex, you're frustrated, you step out on your marriage, or you go and do something else. Do you understand? If you can't compromise, don't force yourself. That's how I see it.
Anyway, to each his own.
Can,
That's all I can say.
as a man, I'm advising you. Unless I'm talking to like a middle-aged man or like a late 30-year-old guy. Okay. If I late 30-year-old, then I used to define sex. Oh, brother, a machine. Then I'm just saying, I'm not like, don't make long-term decisions just because of how like a temporary frustration. I'm just like saying, right? Communicate this thing and
Bro, this thing
you
might
guys should
not be
just talk about it.
temporary. This thing might not be temporary.
My brother was
Steve,
like,
this
yeah,
thing
long
might not
hair.
be temporary. The guy
Osagie
said it
Alongside.
there.
By the time
My
this guy is
see
35,
temporary
36,
see,
37,
bro. If this
40,
guy is
he's going to be he's temporary.
my brother, that's
He
if
won't be
my brother.
looking for sex every
Let him reach there. Let him let him enjoy it and let
All
him reach
right.
there.
No
I don't know
Let him
how
enjoy the fufu bed.
I don't know how this guy is. I hope you can write to us and tell us if you're bro, if you're listening, please write back to us and tell us how old you are. In
Yeah,
fact,
please.
any Ask the Giants, sex male now, please just put in your age. It's very, very important. So we have context.
Exactly.
Now, if this guy is 28, that's still another 10 years.
First of all, sorry, but why you guys making it sound like when you're 40 you stop having sex?
It's Steve. I
I'm
don't know
just
what Steve is saying.
My brother, you don't stop. Oh.
bro.
You
Hey,
don't stop.
hmm.
But you're not
See, Steve, let me tell you something. When you
you're not in your sexual peak at the age of 40. But you
Steve,
guess
if
who
you,
is in a sexual peak at the age of 40?
Oh my God.
bro,
All right.
Steve, you know you sabi football now. You know when players now reach that 35, you know they don't run anymore. So you can see the hope.
Yeah, I
You can
understand.
see the
Messi,
whole pitch.
Yeah, I have
They
Messi
know
this
how to
still
throw
score.
the ball.
I have this
Messi still
See,
score free kick.
this thing
Oh.
you just mentioned.
Messi
I have
still
but
this
score
thing.
free kick.
Messi
Oh.
see they score free kick. Oh.
Yeah. This thing that you just mentioned, I have my own tactics. I have
Bro,
my own coping. It's true, it's true. But I
yeah.
understand what everybody's saying, Shabe. You can just, take an average of uh of our opinions and just, take the just pick the opinions, just pick it apart and just choose the one that you want. You can take an opinion from each and every one of us and just form your own and just, have the best decision. And wish you the best, my brother. God is with you.
Yes, let's do what most Nigerians do when they are trying to finally evade giving final advice, so they are not, held
Responsible
responsible.
Liable.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
liable. God
results.
will guide you. Yeah,
Yes,
God will guide
yes.
you, my
So
brother. Mm,
God will guide you.
God will guide you. Okay, hope we helped out there. Yeah. Let's go into the final segment. Everything music, medias, and movies. Let's quickly start with media. Who has been watching? I'm sure Ayo, you have. Do you know a guy called Big Jah?
Let me tell you a story about Big Jahh. I
Okay.
discovered Big Jahh in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
The lesbian homie, and I've been hooked since. Him
Yeah.
and his guy Minx. Hey yo, Minx.
Thanks. Yeah.
I follow two of them religiously, and they have like a small universe, black LA comedians, YouTube comedians, and I've been following them. And bro, those guys are they're dope. They're dope. Big Jahh is actually very very dope.
Yeah. So Big Jah he's more of like an actor, right? Actor and producer.
Yeah,
But
he
most
is.
of his sketches are leaned towards comedy. But
Mhm.
like you said, I also discovered the lesbian homie. Funny enough, I discovered it and watched like a few episodes because I was following it, then I dropped. Then I picked up on your chat you were having with Dio, somebody in the
Yeah,
WhatsApp group, right? Then I went back and then I finished, the first series it did called The Lesbian Homie. And you guys can check it on YouTube, right? His name is Big Jab, Bigjahh. So it's low budget movie series on YouTube. They last for like 25 to 30 minutes, like low budget, right? One camcorder, but the storytelling is fantastic, right?
very.
And so I watched season one of The Lesbian Homie, then I watched season two. Now by season two, he's upgraded, better
Yeah.
cameras, better plot, more characters, and all that. So when I was done with that, he now dropped another series called Cuddle Season. Have you watched Cuddle
Oh,
Season?
yes, that. Oh, I've not watched that.
Yeah.
I've not watched that.
Cuddle Season is amazing, right? So he also has about 9 episodes of Cuddle Season. Well, I just discovered that, and then you have like all the people who featured in that also have their own YouTube channels and have their own short movies. And this is how Isari started, right? With
Yeah,
Daria of
that's how
Not
it
Called Black
started.
Girl. Before it got picked up by HBO for her to shoot Insecure. And Diary of an Awkward Black Girl, I think, is still on YouTube and stuff. I'm hoping Big Jah also gets like commissioned by like a big TV channel or something for him to do something big because his story and he's a very good actor. He's a really good actor.
Yeah,
I
he
just
is.
wanted to mention that you guys can check it out. His name is Big Jazz on YouTube. We talked about Motola a few minutes ago. She granted an interview where she talked about, way before Afrobeats, we introduced Nigerian entertainment to the world, that is Nollywood. Do you guys agree?
Partially, yes, I agree. I agree partially, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as well. Nollywood was the first when you talk about soft power, right? Nollywood was probably, I won't say the first because I'm sure there was music before, the whole music industry broke apart and all that. This is in the
Yeah.
90s when the labels left. But like in that 90s and 2000s, talking about soft power, Nollywood was definitely in the forefront in Nigeria, pushing a lot of, this whole to the world, Africa to the world, whatever to the world, right? Nollywood was there, especially, within African countries. I know I've traveled to like different countries in Africa, mostly East Africa, and they are talking about Ramsey Noah, Rita Dominic. Oh, I love your actors. Oh, Nigerian men are very caring and all that, and that's based off the movies that they watch, which is super interesting, right? So I agree with that as well. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I said like I agree with what she said now. Like Nollywood, especially in people tend to forget what Nollywood did in Africa. You know, in the early 2000s, I think in the early 2000s, Nollywood was really really popular in African countries. Like you go to like Cote d'Ivoire, you go to like Benin Republic, and you see these guys like really really like what's our Afrobeat stars are right now in the world. That was what our Nollywood acts were in Africa, especially in the African continent, early in the days. I don't think the thing to the world really happened, especially to America, because our film we didn't have a lot of quality. So I don't think it happened beyond Africa, but in Africa, definitely.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so I was listening to Rema's um the deluxe of Rema's album Raven Roses, right? And there's a track called Hove. Of course,
Yeah.
I was gonna play that shit, right? Anybody names a track called Hove, being a big Jay Z stan. And so, I'm listening to it, and then in the chorus, the guy just says, okay, the chorus goes, oh, yeah, just the JKLB, all your mates, the hustle, you the peck elements, make you reason himself. I go motivate you to an extent. Now you go use your own leg and the knowledge where I help you get. If you do me evil, just prepare for your karma. Nla. Pray the real ones live longer. Too many snakes under the grass. Osagie no Misha, all the prophecies that they do. I'm just like, what the hell? So here's the thing I have, right? Because I don't know too many Osages. When someone mentions Osage, especially in the entertainment circle, first person I think about is Osage Osarens, right? Who used to
Oh
be
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
case manager and everything. And so if I can't tie it to her, I'm like, is this person talking about me? But no, it wasn't talking about me. I think the person he was referencing somebody he knew in Benin and all that. But the thing just kind of, I
Just
don't know.
hit home.
Yeah, not hit home, but I'm just like, what's it saying? Yeah, then I went on Twitter, right, immediately, and I did like a search, and I saw something around somebody saying it was crazy, saying, how like who the fuck is CK,
Yeah.
and this is like Osagi no Misha, and I was like, so someone tried to do one conspiracy theory about it, and I started to believe it. Then I was like, nah, 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 you're just joking. Well, as some of the things I do when I don't have any work to do, I just go into a rabbit hole.
Shout
All
out to
right.
you.
I want to talk about albums that were released 10 years ago. A couple of albums that were released 10 years ago, and I want you guys to rank them on a scale of 1 to 5. You're going to give it 1 mic, 2 mics, 3 mics, 4 mics, or 5 mics, which is a classic. And I have a
All
couple of
right.
albums here. Yeah, 10 albums. Well, more than 10 albums, but like these albums were released 10 years ago. I'll start off with Olamide's Baddest Guy Ever Live It. What do you guys rank it?
I'll give it out a 4.
A 4 over 5.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you give it?
Same 4 over 5.
4 over 5. I'll give it a I'll give it a 4.5.
Okay,
I'll give it a 4.5.
still close. Yeah,
Burner Boy, leaving an impact for eternity. Life.
that's his first album, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the debut solo album,
That's
yeah.
the debut solo album. Hmm.
Steve,
I'll give it a 3 over 5.
3 over 5. I'll
3/5.
give it a 3.5 over 5. Am I
They
being too
add
generous with these
they
numbers?
add 0.5 now.
Yes, all this 0.5 where they give.
Mm.
I don't understand.
But people swear that this album is a classic. Oh my god, Burna Boy life. Oh,
No, it's not classic.
and I think it's just nostalgia that is hitting everybody. It was a good album, but it wasn't that. Now
He has
looking at
had
what
better.
he's been able to do.
Yeah, he has way better albums now.
Yeah, look at what he's been able to do with African Giant outside twice as tall. Come on. Like you can then see that okay, this album it was good, but it wasn't what people heralded to be. Once Upon a Time, Tiwa Savage, the debut album.
I'm, sur- I'm
Three.
surprised. That's so. Tiwa stayed how many years without an album after Kele Kele Love? Damn, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it took a while before she
It took
dropped
a
Red.
while, right? I'll say three. I'll say three.
I'll say
I want to say
um
3.5, but three is really fair.
I'll give her a 3.5. I'll give her a 3.5, yeah.
Even when I
Okay.
try to
I'll
discourage this guy, he no agree.
I'll give her a 2.5. Black Magic version 2.0. This was a good album.
I get that a 4. That's the one with Orisha Femi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get that a 4.
Okay, Steve.
I'm not very familiar with this album, I won't lie. So I'll pass.
Okay, I'll give it a 4 as well. I'll give it a 4. R&BW, Banky W.
Oh, why are
5.
we even talking here, please?
Wow,
4.5.
Steve,
Hmm?
5.
Yes, no.
That's
I
a
don't understand.
classic.
What? Are you asking me, sir?
This album is one of my most. This album is my favorite album. One of my favorite albums. Don't
Why you
get me
asking me,
started.
sir?
I've already recorded the music in time of this album. Don't get me
Oh,
started.
who's your guest?
Who was my guest? The lovely Belema EO.
Okay.
Okay, so I am Steve says 5, classic. Ding ding ding.
Very
Ayo
biased.
says
Very biased. Very biased. Very
very
biased.
biased. Ayo,
Yeah.
what about you?
4.5.
All right, I
Yeah.
give it
The
a
only reason
4.5 as
the
well.
only reason I'm taking it up from 4.5 because there's no like clear cut hit song from this album. That's the reason I'm taking 4.5
What?
from you. There's
What?
no clear cut hit record from this album. No. Hit record.
Good loving.
It's not a hit record. Bro. It's not a
Okay,
hit. It's not a national hit. No, that's what I'm saying. Right?
fair enough.
If Strong Team
Yes,
was
no, how about
if
yes?
Strong Team was on this album, it would be 5/5. Do you get?
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
I get you.
Just-
I get
yeah.
you. Inyanya Desire. This is the
Hmm.
comeback album. This is his sophomore, the comeback album. This is the Kokiri album. This
I'll say
is
4/5.
the Sexy Mama. This is the
I'll give it a 4
The
because,
album wasn't that
yeah,
Lil
good.
Nelson.
It had like some hit
Well,
records. So I'll give it a
he
4.
had
I'll give it a
Steve. This
4.
album had 6 hit records.
That's what I'm
Six
saying. It had
hit
a lot of hit
records.
records, a lot of hit, but there was also a lot of fillers. I remember.
So you give it a 4.
Yeah, I'll
Ayo.
give it a 4. 4 is
I'll give it
good.
a 4.
I give it a 4 as well. KC Take Over, the Limpopo album.
Mhm.
He had Limpopo. He had Okrekete.
Okay.
He had Pullover.
Oh, this is the one I pull over.
Yeah, now this album. He had this album had a couple of hits, man.
I'll say 4
Okay.
too.
I give it a 3.5.
Well, okay.
I'll give it a shy 3.
Give it a shy. What the fuck is a shy 3?
A shy
I said
3.
4, right? Yeah, 4 is good. No.
Yeah, I give it a 3.5.
All right.
YJ, Words Aren't Just Enough. Debut album, long awaited debut album, powerful album. Everything you want from an R&B album, you had it on this album.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 4.5.
I give it a 4.5.
Yep. I'll probably say 4 because well, 4.5 is good too. But I'll say let me go 4. I love the album a lot. I love YJ a lot. So let me just I'll just because I want to oppose you guys. Let me just say 4. Yep.
Okay. Ayo, I'm looking at your review that you wrote 10 years ago of this album, and you gave it a 4.5 back then.
Which album is that?
YJ.
Words aren't just enough. YJ.
0.5. Yes. That's close enough. That's what I said now. 4.5. So
But you gave it a 4 10 years ago.
Point 0.5 inflation. You know, there's inflation. Inflation has happened. The price of oil has increased. Everything.
Afrobeats inflation.
Afrobeats inflation on the.
Oh, damn.
That's the 0.5%. Yeah.
Okay. Jesse
Uh,
Jags, Thy Nation Come, Volume 1.
I go first.
4.5.
All right, let me go. I'll go 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5.
Steve,
Um, let me go 4.5. My mind is selling.
I
My
go
mind
for a
is
4.5
saying,
as well.
yeah, my mind is saying 5 by 4.5. It's 4.5. Yeah,
I go for a 4.5 as well. This album is incredibly this album is crazy.
too good. It's
From
too
the
good.
lyrics to
Production.
composition
Yeah.
to every
Unique,
like
Production.
yeah,
uniqueness.
no Jesse
Yeah.
Jags was yeah, it was on a roll in this album. It was too much. No, what's the name of that song? You know, life in a bed of roses. Ah, God. Anyways, Brimo, Merchant Dealers and Slaves.
5.
6.
This album is 5/5. No
Strong
contest.
one. No,
No, it's
hmm,
strong 5. Strong
strong
5.
5. In bold fonts.
Strong.
In bold fonts, please.
Yes. Odogu fonts. 5/5. Brimo might be Brimoing right now, and doing his whatever. But when this album drops,
God
when they
damn.
drop this album, please, 5/5, classic. All right, The King's Men, The Bunch, K Switch, and J Soul.
4.
4.
4. I'll give it a 4 too.
This album is also very
It's
slept on.
okay.
Very slept on album.
Go on.
You don't want me
Go
to go
on.
into it, I know.
Go on. Go on. Go on.
But this album, and you know the funny thing, this album is not even on DSPs, but it's on iTunes
Yeah.
if you want to get it. But even the version on iTunes doesn't have some songs. I have like the one that has everything now because I have the hard copy. This album is back to back hits, back to back. But you see, when this album dropped, nobody liked the bunch. So, and that's the
It's
way this
sad.
industry is. Once they don't like you, if you like release music like Mozart, nobody's fucking with you. Nobody will listen to it. Okay, Omaomi, Lasso of Truth. This is her sophomore album,
Yeah.
the follow up to the Wonder Woman album, Lasso of Truth.
I said 3.
Yeah, I'll
I
give
said,
it a,
I
I'll say
think I give it a
3.5.
3.5. I think I give
Yeah,
it a 3.5.
I'll give it a
Give it 3.
3.5. Let me see what I'll give it back then to check the inflation.
The inflation rate.
Whether increase or decrease.
To check the inflation Omaomi, Lasso. Because I was releasing albums like a motherfucker back then, man. This guy
Bro.
has, God, Ayo has written.
Don't try.
Hmm. You know the headline. In fact, what we should have done is, as we're naming everything, we should have just gone to what Ayo gave all the scores
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
I beg.
Because I can swear Ayo reviewed all these albums.
Yeah, I think I
Anyways,
did actually.
Omomi is a super heroine. That is the album. That is the review title.
Yeah, she said Lasso of Truth, Wonder Woman now. So
Yeah, and you gave
that's
it
a big deal.
4. You gave it 4 back then. So what happened to your Afrobeat stacks? Inflation.
Uh, you don't
This
get
this one was deflation.
decrease. Decrease one, yes.
Okay. And of course, Reminisce, Alaga, Ibile.
That's the second album, right?
Yes, this is the sophomore album. This is the this is the album where he went in. This is the album that has government. This is the
3
album that
point.
has
3.5.
Ah,
this is the album,
ah,
Sha.
I won't allow anybody
a
to
Me,
beat
this is
me.
a
flirtatious
4.
four.
Me, this is a
A
4.
flirta-
Oh, it's
a
3.5.
flirtatious four.
A flirtatious
The
4.
Flexioners 4 is
Is
3.5.
this
Yeah. It's 3.5.
no? It's
Flexioners 4 is
3.5. It's
3.5. Yeah.
3.5.
It's 3.5.
Sorry, you remember? I remember it's 3.5. I gave this
It's
3.5.
3.5.
Yes,
I give it a 3.5.
I think I
Mm-hmm.
gave it 3.5. I can't remember.
I'm
No, so
still going.
I think I'm mixing up the albums. I think I'm mixing up the albums.
This is
I'll give
Alaga
it.
Ibile.
Yeah,
Should I
I'll
should
give
I
it.
should I should I read out the tracks for you?
Please just read it out. Let me just make sure.
Let me read out the tracks for you. Hold on. I got you. I got you. Oh, yeah. All right. So this is he has government, right? Has fantasy. I need fake pussy,
Mm.
I need fantasy. This track is Owo Yapo Lapo Mio, Baby Mio. The record with Wizkid,
Yeah,
Elenio.
yeah.
Dum 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 dum. Remember that record? This is the
I
album
remember
that
that record.
has Mufelo will be daddy mio.
3.5. 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
3.5. Don't worry.
3.5.
I
I mean,
remember now.
I
Yeah,
give it
yeah.
like a 4. I give it a 4. This album that has turned it around. So basically, the principal production was handled by Sas and Sosik.
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
Remember? All right. So yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yep,
10
yep.
albums.
10
Couple of
years.
albums turning 10. 10.
Makes sense.
Guys, we're old
Mm.
because I
Bro,
remember these things like yesterday.
Methuselah
I
lived
was on
for how
my
many
I was
years?
on my
So
sexual
please, no.
prime at that time.
What is your problem with sexual pride? I don't understand, Steve. Do you need to speak to somebody like a
That's,
professional?
that's the theme
Because
of
I
this
don't get.
podcast. You people
That's
like
not
men
the
that
podcast.
you people
Sexual,
like men that are
Oh,
vulnerable,
but now you
right?
go.
That
Now you go
communicate.
read that newsletter. Now you go read the
sexual
newsletter.
prime.
Don't be me.
Sexual prime. Who's writing the newsletter?
I don't
It's
know.
Steve actually.
Nana will
It's
let
Steve.
us know.
Okay. Shout out to Nana. Please,
Yeah.
we will just
Sexual
respond
prime.
to Nana. If Nana reaches out to you guys, even just acknowledge the man. He's doing a
I've,
lot
I've,
of
I've,
work.
I've
respond to him.
responded
I
to him
respond
now.
to
I
him.
sent him the audio yesterday
And I
now.
sent you guys I sent you guys an email 5 days
That thing
ago,
we
and I didn't even
discussed it
get
on the
one
group.
response from both of you.
We discussed this thing just before we recorded the podcast, and we said we all agreed. And I said, I just saw the email. I'm like, why is this mail necessary again?
Why is
No,
this
I'll
mail
reply the
necessary?
mail.
There's a whole
I'll
project
reply the mail.
plan that I
Eh, no,
shared. Have you
people
gone
are,
through the
There's a,
project plan?
I've
yes.
gone
Not
through
read.
it.
No problem, Ayo.
I'll just reply.
Steve has not read the email.
All right, I'll go and read it again.
Steve, have you gone to
Have you?
Trello?
Yes, now.
Did you go to
I
Trello?
don't know. I didn't go to Trello. I didn't go. No vex. No
You
vex.
see
You go
him.
to
You see him.
Trello. Have you
No
opened
vex.
the project plan? That
No
project plan, have you opened
vex.
it?
No vex.
I'm
Lead
asking you
research.
a
I don't
question.
fuck.
Have you
Lead
opened?
research. I don't fuck up. I agree. Say I don't fuck up. No vex. No vex.
How can I send the
Lead
mail
researcher.
5 days later? It's
He
a
don't
terrible
know. No
attitude.
vex.
No, I'm going to talk to you. No, 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 no. It's not. I'm not vexed, but
No
I have to
vex.
say my mind.
No wahala. All right. No wahala.
Respond, Ayo, please respond.
I'll
Thank you.
respond.
All right. Talking about people acting weird, like Steve, who's watched the Cloned Tyrone on Netflix?
I did. I did.
Bro, John Boyega, round of applause to this young man. This guy
Shout out to
is
him.
an actor.
He's an actor. Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's good.
I watched the movie. Funny enough, I watched it today. I checked Rotten Tomatoes, 92%. Just put in context, Oppenheimer is 94%. Who's watched Oppenheimer, by the way?
I haven't yet. It's
Okay,
now.
I'll probably go watch it next week in the cinema.
Probably picture Oscar, so I won't be surprised.
Yeah, definitely. Who's going to watch Barbie?
I will bootleg it. I don't think I'm going to watch it though.
What are you
I don't think I'm going to go to the cinema.
What are you bootlegging?
Barbie.
Oh, okay. They've already made over 300 million.
Barbie.
Let me not encourage piracy anyway. Let me just shut up my mouth. I don't do. I always go to the cinema to watch my
Thank you.
movies.
Thank you. This one, thank you very much. That's the kind of attitude I want
Yes.
from people who have passed their sexual prime. Yes.
But people like us that when our sexual peak, you're still there.
God.
We don't get time to go. Now for laptop, we go watch
You
it.
understand? People that have passed their sexual prime should not be bootlegging. Please spend money on entertainment.
Yes,
we know
I do.
And Viagra also. It's part of sexual prime.
and adult entertainment.
Oh God!
Because I don't understand again.
Oh my God!
If you're not going to spend money on normal entertainment, spend money on adult entertainment.
Easy, yes.
Oh my goodness. All right. I haven't watched Oppenheimer yet, but I'll go watch it out. I'll go watch it. I'm not watching Barbie. The Clone Tyrone, fantastic movie on Netflix. You guys should watch it. John Boyega, amazing actor. Of course, Jamie Foxx, amazing. I don't know,
OG.
he was in the news and there was this whole thing about him being cloned. I don't know if they tied it into the promo of this movie. I don't want to know what went down. But it's good to see that he's back and doing well. Also, I wanted to mention Extraction 2. It's a way better movie than Extraction 1. I don't know if you guys have watched it.
Of
I
course, I've watched
haven't.
it.
I won't watch any of
No.
the one. I've not watched
Okay.
any of the one. Actually, sir.
And people are saying Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is better
Yeah, I
than
enjoyed Extraction 2.
right. Okay.
I
I've never
definitely
watched Guy
need to
Ritchie's
watch.
himself.
I'm
Oh,
going to watch
The
that after
Covenant.
recording this.
Oh, please, you have to watch The Covenant, bro. That film is sick, bro.
Who's the lead actor, Steve?
For which one?
The Covenant.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I
Another
need
good
to
actor.
watch this shit.
Oh yeah, it's good,
Yeah,
right?
It's very good. It's very good. Very
I'll
good.
watch. I'll watch it. I'm watching it tonight.
The Covenant.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. That's the title.
Oh, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Oh, Jake. This Jake guy. How do you pronounce his
Yeah.
name?
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal, something like that. He's a good actor. I like him.
Okay, and he just dropped, right?
Yeah, he's a very good actor. He
The
dropped
movie
like
just dropped.
last month.
April
Yeah, I think
23.
last month.
April 2023.
Oh, April. Okay.
Yeah,
I watched it
Okay.
last month, sir.
Audience
I-
score
I
98%.
swear.
Reviewer
88.
score, critic score is 83%.
It's
But I'll
83,
watch
yeah.
it. I'm definitely watching it. I'll watch it. Okay, I'll watch it. Guys, I watched the fourth and final season of Jack Ryan. Not bad. Not bad at all. I think the best season is season 3. I think
Season
it
3 is the
peaked at
best.
season 3,
Yeah.
but like this season 4, not
I didn't
bad
enjoy.
at all.
I didn't enjoy. I'm a big Jack Ryan fan, but I
But
didn't
that's
enjoy
season
it.
3 where they went to.
No, season 3 is mad.
You didn't enjoy season 4.
I'll always enjoy CIA,
Yeah.
FBI movies, but it's not my best in this is in the whole Jack Ryan thing. I think it's my least favorite.
Season
Yeah.
3 was really good.
So season 3 was 3 and 1. Are
My least favorite is season 1.
For real?
No, season 1 was a bit. Yeah. Season 2 now dragged when they went to South
Season 2
America. It
dragged
kind of
South
dragged a
America.
bit.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'll rank it as season 3, season 4,
Mine
season
is
1,
3,
then
2,
season 2.
1, 3, 1, 4. No, 3, 1, 2, and 4. 4 is my least favorite. I'm sorry.
What?
That's how I say it.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, let me look at Rotten Tomatoes and how they scored it. They scored season 1 75%. They scored season 2 67%. They scored season 3 81%. And they scored
Yeah.
season 4 87%.
Okay.
So almost how I mentioned, but a bit different. Anyways, that is it from us. Do you guys have any other thing to add?
Nothing.
Nope. I'm good.
All right. Thank you again for listening to another episode of Loose Talk. I want you guys to write to us, right? The fan mail is fanmail@loosetalkgiants.com. You can write in your fan mails, you can write in your Ask the Giants, or any other thing you want to write in. Thank you so much for streaming. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sharing. I saw that you guys have been sharing. Share more, right? Don't keep it all to yourself. It's not palliative. Share with everybody. Don't keep it. It's not a secret, right? Share it like you were in your sexual prime. Like you know how you were sharing people back then. Yes, share the podcast the same way. Steve, do you want to add something to that?
No, sir.
Oh, good.
No, you're not
Yes, sir.
adding to this. Okay, because you're past your prime.
Let's pass this point. Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you for listening again, and I'll catch you guys next Monday.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.